Hello and welcome to Trucking Answers Live. It's Monday at 1 p.m. and we are back, and it's already a full house down there today. Holy mackerel. What's happening out there today? It's good to see everybody. Yikes. Mark was the first one in already. Nice. Jimmy, hello. Robert. Yes. Timothy is here. Yeah, you're going to have you don't change time over there, right? Nice. Richard, hello. U-Haul is here. Man, it's a full house. So I appreciate everybody coming in here today. What's happening out there for everybody today? It's super nice. PAM is sinking like a rock, and I think that's the greatest thing ever for them. They lost a lawsuit. It's time for everybody to get their pay because PAM is losing this lawsuit. As I'm looking down at a screen for the people that don't know here, to try to keep up with the chat, and so that's what I'm doing here. Not trying to ignore everybody. I have another screen to follow the chat. All right, so PAM loses this law. PAM gets sued by thousands of drivers. Say, look, you're not paying us for our time that we sit. We need to be paid minimum wage. PAM finally, the state of Arkansas says, yeah. People need to get paid minimum wage for all their time when they're traveling, up to 16 hours a day, at least at minimum wage. So that is great news. You know, England has lost a suit like this. Werner has lost this kind of thing. England settled, right? Werner lost this. The time is now to get up for this. The mate is here. Any thoughts on Brad Viking? Not some other trucker, right, on YouTube. So I just try to stay to myself without talking about other people on there. There's certainly enough drama on YouTube for that, right? Edgar, hello, what's happening today? Gustavo is here, Light Bright. Marty, hey, what's happening, Marty? Good. It's good to see everybody come in today. What does everybody think about this PAM thing? And the problem is, you can only sue for minimum wage, right? Since that's the law. Tito, hello, what's happening? You can only sue for minimum wage, right? Because that's the law. So they sued for minimum wage for all your time. Now, that's not great, but that's something. That's all you're going to be able to get. Every time a company makes you sit, you should put in you should file with the state and say that I have time that they're not paying me for, and then they'll get thousands and thousands. They have to answer every one. When you file a complaint with the state Department of Labor, they have to answer every kind of complaint. They don't have any choice. They've got to answer it or you get paid. Adrian, yeah, Cowboys, sports, exactly. That's sports. Jimmy, right? Dustin, how's it going? Roger, that's nice for you to be in here. Timothy, let's see. Yeah, it's about time they have minimum wage for drivers. The problem is you can only get the $7.25 an hour. Depending what state you are, it may be more in your state. So that is a problem right now, getting this, but it's something. 16 hours times $7.25 might be more than you get if you sit every day, especially if you're laid over or something like that. File a claim. Don't let them sit you without being paid. Let's see. While Bill is here, good. All right, Bill, we're all ready to be educated, that's for sure. I'm waiting for that too. Clyde, what's happening? Mark is here. The trucker hypocrite buster has been in the house. You called against Celadon in Indianapolis. They referred you to federal, and it was a shell game. We just got to keep filing, and the problem is nobody really files. So they get one filing, they don't care, right? What if hundreds or thousands of people in a state, like a larger state where there's tons of drivers like New York or California, what if they all filed? What if everybody in Texas files all at once, every day? Every day. They'll take notice of that. I mean, the courts, every time people sue, the courts are on everybody's side, that you can't sit around without being paid. So it's time to file, and it's time to take action like this with PAM. They're like, oh, well, we need to have drivers sit without pay. That's ridiculous. That kind of thing is crazy, and people shouldn't do it. So maybe they lay you over and there's no load. File. You should get paid. Maybe they lay you, do whatever. Your truck breaks down. You don't pay. You get paid. Get paid. It's $10 an hour in Maine. That's interesting. So you should be able to get $10 an hour minimum there in Maine. Same owner-operator should get paid well, right? As an independent contractor, you have a separate deal. You're not an employee. That's the problem. Employees get paid. Independent contractors have a contract that they agree to. That is a problem. Although you shouldn't take a load, right, that doesn't have that in the contract where you get paid. You should get paid to sit there. You want some back pay so you can retire? There's probably enough back pay for some people to retire. Yeah, I agree. All that time paid as one big check. Exactly. You got here late. Yes, there are demerits for being late. We see you're only 5 minutes. You get 5 demerits. That's a problem. You be on time. Truck drivers on time here. And bring a pen. Always bring a pen. Truck drivers never have a pen. You're late, so you need to know, right? We're talking about this unemployment with PAM, where you're not getting paid. You're sitting without getting paid. And a lot of drivers do this, and you shouldn't do it, of course. Companies should pay you, and some don't. So anytime, that's what I've been thinking. Anytime now that you have that's unpaid, you need to go to your state and file a claim and say, oh, they worked me and didn't pay me. And let the company come and figure it out. They have to respond to it. They're required. Spank you for being late? Yes. People are going to get spanked for being late. I think that's another channel. You have to pay, you pay by the hour for that kind of thing at some places. Jeff, good afternoon for coming in. I appreciate it. You have to fight to get your detention from the company you're signed on to. Yeah, that's a problem. You shouldn't have to fight to get paid. The question, well, it sounds like you're an owner-operator there, so you have a different issue, I guess, rather than employee. Nobody will sign a rate confirmation at $125 for waiting. Well, that's the beauty of owning the truck, but there's really not much you can do as an independent contractor. You're not going to be able to file with the state. They're going to say, sorry, you're independent. So it's a problem. What about a dedicated run? Something like that. Won't they fire you when they find out you reported them? Well, that's an interesting question. If you're not being paid, is it worth working there? How about that? Can you get fired from a job that doesn't pay you? You probably could. But look, if they're not paying you enough, what's the point? And there's probably some kind of law about it, although I'm sure they wouldn't abide by it. And yeah, maybe they could. They can't fire. What if everybody filed there? They can't fire everybody. Think about all the phones burning us. Did you see that video about PAM? Yeah, well, I don't know about that. Did somebody send it to PAM? Let them see it. Of course, they already know about the court case since they were involved in it. It is a step in the right direction. It's something. We can't just do nothing and not get paid. That's crazy. To just tolerate not being paid? No way. No way. Companies lose these suits. England paid $3-point-something million for this kind of thing. They settled a case. They lose this kind of stuff in court, okay, or they end up having to pay. So it's on our side if we just take some type of action. You're in the middle of the live chat. Good. Usually you're driving. Well, good. It's time to get a day off. You're sitting waiting at a customer. Good. I hope you're getting paid waiting there. You know, I would say maybe the first hour be part of your stop pay or whatever. That's all right. But, you know, people sit 6, 8. People write to me, oh, I sat 16 hours. That's ridiculous. And they might pay me. Some of these companies are like, well, if the company pays, we'll pay you. Well, what the heck is that? That's why I'm an employee. You go figure it out. You're making $5,000 to $6,000 an hour at Celadon. Yikes. They almost passed the $15 an hour for the whole state. Oh, yeah, that's never going to happen. In Indiana, we're going to be the last one to raise the minimum wage here. That is never going to happen. All you're going to be able to get here is minimum. But in Celadon, you better go get your pay fast, as as we found out here recently that they're just about broke. Almost. Call Pam doing live feed. Ask the recruiter if we can get paid for all the time. Yeah, that'd be fun, right? I don't record or bring calls on for sure. And I really don't have the technology here to do that. I'm just me here. But that's a good idea. Somebody could do that. One of you guys that does these calls, if any of you do the videos with the calls, that's not a bad idea. 36 hours at Beardstown, Illinois. That's crazy. You better have got paid for that. 3 million is a lot of brand new rigs to lose. I don't think they have 3 million drivers. Yeah, it would be hilarious, but technology here, not great. So doing a separate call, I guess I could probably Hangouts call them or something like that. Drivers shouldn't just take it anymore. Right, one win and many more to go. The company should hold the receivers and shippers. Yes, the companies don't, because the shippers all say, oh, we'll go get company X over here to do it for less or whatever. The company should all stand up and say, no, we need to pay our people, and so you're going to pay us. But they know that drivers don't care because we've tolerated it for all these years, and so they know many people will just sit there and tolerate not being paid. It's crazy. You wouldn't let your 14-year-old kid that works at McDonald's not get paid for any time. They couldn't tell that kid to come in and we're just not going to pay you for 3 hours a day. You'd make them quit. But we have been doing it for many, many years, and it needs to end. With this lawsuit, it's just like all about ending that, finally. Smith Transport is hiring. You sit and wait long. Yeah, there's waiting. As long as you got paid what you're driving, it's okay. Oh, you're quite welcome, Timothy. I appreciate you saying that. That's nice of you. Yeah, that's the thing of it. And I've said that in some of my comments, too, that slavery was outlawed some years ago. The thing is, with slaves are forced to sit there, right? Drivers sit there voluntarily. You're almost a volunteer there. So we don't have to do it. We don't have to sit without being paid. Some places pay you, and other places that don't need to either be reported or you need to quit. You lost $3 million in a lawsuit. That's rip-off. Yeah, it is ripping off a lot of drivers. Yeah, look how many drivers were ripped off. They probably each got a couple of $100 for that. John, yes. Well, I don't know about that. I don't sit on a mountain or anything, that's for sure. Does this start immediately? Yeah, you're in training for PAM now. Yeah, ask them about if they're going to start paying you, and ask them about their recent lawsuit. See, it's a local lawsuit, and it's in Arkansas. It's a state lawsuit. It needs to be, it needs to be federalized. It needs to be taken bigger. It was just a state suit and only against them, and I think the lawsuit was only against the drivers that filed. So they're still going to continue to not pay people, but they're going to have to pay these other people back wages. It needs to get all across the country. But it is a great first step because lawsuits that they lose or settle, are used against them later. So that's even better. Yeah, show people a $5 bill, Larry, and say, you remember this guy? That's why, we don't have to do this anymore. Kenworth, you're welcome. I heard about it, and I think it needs to be out there. Everybody needs to know about it. Lawyers and judges collect the payout. I don't think the judge gets any of the payout. The judges are paid. Lawyers will collect the largest amount of that, but the company still has to pay it, and it's a lawsuit for precedent for other drivers to use and say, see, this court has already ruled on this kind of thing. It makes a difference. That makes a difference. They have to pay you for a minimum of 60 to 70 hours a week at minimum. Right. That's correct. They do. If you're going to be out those hours, you'll have to get minimum wage for the total hours that you're out. That is correct. And they can't pay you less than minimum wage. Right. That's what it's saying. So will drivers be affected like that? Hopefully you make more than minimum. But I'm telling you, if you're sitting without being paid, you should file a claim and say, my company has me work and doesn't pay me, and let them answer hundreds of complaints. The Indiana Turnpike increased the tolls for trucks. Yes, that's correct, to fix everything but the interstate. That's true, right? And they said that all the side roads up by the Indiana Toll Road are packed with trucks avoiding the tolls. Hopefully, if you're a company driver, your company allows you to continue to use the toll road. Have I heard of PGT trucking? I have heard of PGT trucking. The oil field paid $200 an hour for a flatbed. Now they pay $120 an hour. That equals $2 a mile. That's still not bad. Let's put it that way. Overtime after 40, trucker, hypocrite buster, no. Truck transportation was exempted under the Fair Labor Standards Act in the 30s from overtime and minimum wage, although that seems to be changing. It is changing where the courts are saying, no, you have to get at least minimum. But truckers were exempted from overtime. That's another fight. That's coming. But I think this first fight where you get paid for all your time is it. You want to change, you want to get overtime? Look, here's the bottom line. Drivers, all drivers with electronic log should get paid for all of their time right off the log, hourly plus overtime, period. There's no reason why drivers shouldn't get hourly, especially with the electronic log, with overtime, everybody. And then drivers that don't use it, I guess they can sit for free if they want to still use an old truck. But I guarantee you, nobody'd be running illegal if you got paid off of that log. You wouldn't be logging off duty when you should be on duty. That's for sure. Let's see, 720 is 1218. Yeah, it's not 168 hours. It would be all work time. That's what the court was saying for them, 60 hours. How about minimum wage and a delicious meal? Yeah, they could add food in that. Would I say PGT is doing it right? I don't know anything about them other than I've heard of them. Collecting vintage watches, that's interesting. I have an old Rolex. How about that? You hopefully could stop the cents per mile and start hourly wages with overtime. Every driver should get paid right from their electronic log. They want to log you by the minute like that? Let's get paid by it. There's no reason road drivers can't get paid for it. Don't be afraid of that. It should be 40 hours plus overtime right off your log. The judge's name, nice. You get the judge's name out there. Salary $1,800 a week over the road. That's not bad either. I have some people writing to me. There's several places that are paying a larger salary like that. And I'm right now, since there's really not overtime, I'm a fan of the guarantee. I like a base guarantee for drivers so that drivers that write to me and say, well, I was laid off. Like a driver wrote to me, Ryan, what's happening? And his truck was broke down. His last check was only $170. So because they didn't pay him for all this breakdown time and the motel, they paid the motel but didn't pay him anything. That's ridiculous. You can't live on that. And he should leave that company, of course. But if he had a guaranteed minimum of $1,000 or $1,200 or whatever the guarantee would be, at least you'd get that even if you didn't work. So there's no reason that you can't get a guarantee, and then you're going to get $200, $250 a day. Even if you're not working, then you don't have to worry you're going to get a $180 check. That's crazy. You can't live on that. That's a day's pay, right, or less at most places. So to sit you like that, and I don't know what companies are thinking either to make you sit like that. Most places don't do that, but some where he worked does, right? Send the judge a thank you card. Yeah. He's just ruling in his case, and hopefully he'll continue to rule like that. We need to get a couple case courts like this around the country to be different. Because whenever there's a difference in the opinion of a lower court, then we can get the appeal and get a federal court to rule on the whole thing. That's the idea anyway. And say, look, people need to be paid. Then since they're being paid hourly, why aren't we not being paid overtime? That is for sure. You talked to the clerk and they said thank you to the clerk. I wonder if they'll pass that on to the judge. Or if he'll take that into any kind of consideration, like some kind of sidebar. That's really great. Big guarantee per mile. Yeah, the guarantee doesn't matter if you can get the miles. But what I'm saying is there's a driver that was broke down for a number of days and had some layovers, and so he didn't get any pay. So if he'd have had a guarantee, that's exactly what it works out to, a floor. Right? You can floor your pay so you know at least, even if there's a bunch of problems that week, it's a huge problem, you're going to at least make that much money. At least you're going to get $200 or $250 a day, every day, so that you're like, oh, I don't have to make $10 or beg them for layover. It's worth having. It's worth having. Detention after an hour, automatic after arriving on time. $16 an hour at Smith. Yeah, Newspam has done that. A lot of companies are doing that, and that's how it should be. It should be automatic. You shouldn't have to go beg them for it or anything like that. Is that the Smith right up here with the black trucks, by the way? You love your pay arrangement. It works out the great detention guarantee minimum that you've never had to use, plus other perks. Yeah, so you have a good deal going there. And you need to you had one video. What's going on? Let's get some videos going out there. ELD keeps companies from abusing us. Yes. Quit being greedy. We should be paid for all on duty time. Look, I agree. I've been a fan of ELD, and I take a lot of grief for that. I've run electronic logs since 2010 without any issues. But, I'm not somebody out there running illegal, so those kind of things, don't bother me. And I still have yet to see a person explain to me, a downside to it because the law didn't change. The logging, right, and the laws in that didn't change at all. So if you were running legal before, you're still running legal on your electronic log, no problem. And I get hate mail all the time for that, but I'm a fan. It just makes my logging easier. All I got to do is punch in at the beginning of the day, and the log takes care of it. At the end of the day, you're done, and that's it. So each day you just punch in, and then you don't have to worry about it. Simple. So I like it. The excuse companies use against hourly pay is they can't supervise the trucker. Yes, if he's not logging more time than it takes him. That's always their excuse. This way, though, so they're basically saying, companies are saying, look, instead of you being able to screw us out of money, we're going to go ahead and do that to you instead. We're going to screw you out of money is basically what companies are saying. We know you'll do that to us, so instead, we'll just do that to you first. That's crazy. They know when you get out of a place, the bills are stamped or whatever. It's most places. It isn't a problem, but people are just going to sit on the clock. I don't think so. Multiple presidential level court are a good thing. Yes, we need the different courts to rule on this. It's going to take a little time, but it's never going to happen if people just sit and not be paid and just tolerate that. We can't do it. Gear Grinder, what's happening? Oh, Trucker Lives Matter. Nice. We're going to start a new hashtag. Going to hashtag that. How about that? Hashtag it. As soon as you get and wake up and start your pre-trip and post-trip should be paid. Yeah, your whole day. Look, when you get up, you should switch that over to on duty, and we should get paid the whole day. Except your 30-minute break, of course, because you can do whatever you want. But otherwise, you need to be paid for the entire day. All the time. And then overtime past 40. And watch how fast companies get you the heck out of a shipper when they're paying you to sit there. They'll be on the phone immediately. Black Smoke Matters. A trucker hypocrite buster apparently didn't see my video about that. You may want to see that. Good morning, the Vanilla Gorilla. Nice. That is great. People come out. I love this. People come up with the best names. If you're in the truck, you're away from home, you're at work, I totally agree. I totally agree. You're working. You should be paid. You work in the trade show industry. Oh, nice. You spend a lot of time sitting. I thought a lot of you trade show guys got some type of salary for the week because of your low miles. Like I know a guy that drives around an MRI machine, a medical MRI, the whole trailer's an MRI. He gets a salary because he may go somewhere and sit 4 days while they're using this thing, and then he goes to the next place. They can't pay him miles. So I kind of thought trade show was paid the same way, really. Maybe not. Illegal outlaws. Yes, let's move on from labeling. Although I do like the hashtag. Kim is here. Good. You got a letter in the mail about a class action suit against Werner. Nice that you're included in. So you're one of the Werner people. Werner got sued and had to pay. They had thousands of students that sued him for unpaid time that they were working, basically the time when they were with a trainer, and didn't get paid for, and Werner lost. And so, good, follow that up. That's legit, right? That's probably about that case. And follow that up, right? You get 15 an hour after 2. That's not terrible. 2 would be the longest. I wouldn't want to go more than that. Okay, Mark, thanks for coming in, though. I appreciate you coming in every Monday. Kim, this is a new one. Yeah, look, that's probably legit, especially if it's from a lawyer's office. Just Google them up and check it out. But yeah, they lost. And there probably is another lawsuit against places like that. There should be lawsuits every day against these places. You know, these lawyers, we should find out who these lawyers are and tell them, yeah, we're not being paid either for these places. Especially that ones that are doing these lawsuits. Maybe that's better than putting the judge's name out there. I should find the name of that lawyer. And we can contact them for all of our back time. And they could get lawsuits against all these companies all at one time. They're not going to be able to defend this when there's case after case. It's just been so pervasive in the industry. And I've always wondered for years why drivers tolerate it. I guess I don't understand it. You should get paid for your time. There are tons of companies out there that pay people for all of their time. And, you know, as soon as you break down or as soon as you have a problem, they start paying you. So we should find those and not tolerate not being paid. Swift has a lawsuit, yes, over 1,200. Swift has an older lawsuit also that I was reading about for owner-operators, where they were forced to buy insurance or something. So there's several lawsuits against them. Of course, they're large. You would expect them to be more lawsuits. You're welcome, Brian, about KB. They were the slave drivers that never paid detention. You know, KB has a problem. And I'm not the only one that did a video about them. There's tons of people that did record calls with K&B Transportation, right? And they apparently just call everybody and get you moving. They don't tolerate you being tired. And there's tons of videos about it where people have recorded calls with them. How they stay in business, I just have no idea anymore. Wild Bill, thank you. I appreciate that. I think about all the Swift drivers who didn't get paid while wrecked in the ditch. You know, they ought to have wreck pay over there. The good companies want experience. So these big companies just turn over the new drivers that don't know. These large companies, a lot of them prey on new drivers. That is true. And really, I guess, you know, you almost have to start somewhere. So some people don't have any choice depending on your background, and at least you're getting your license. But right, then you move out and they just replace you with the next person, and you move out and they replace you with the next person. It isn't crazy. It's crazy. The downside is if I have 3 stops that take 3 hours each, I'm only paid $45 for 9 hours. All right. See, now that's a problem. Imagine if you got paid hourly plus overtime for your entire day. That's better. There can't be anybody that thinks that's not a great way to go. Then all the time that they make you sit there, you'd get paid. And if they want you to get out, they should get you the heck out of there. Have them make a phone call. Our driver's getting paid. Get him out of there. Rec pay. Yes, I think that's good. They should have that listed on their website. You called your Department of Labor to tell them about this, and they had me fill out a form, right? You said at least 6 hours a week with being paid for J.R. Schugel is good, but could be better. Okay, good. Let us know what happens with that. And every time that you're not paid, you should fill out a form. I think almost every day, or at least every week. Maybe every paycheck, because that's probably how they would say it. You know, what did you get paid? All right, I had this many hours that I was unpaid, where they worked me and didn't pay me anything. Anything from the rumor mill on the hours of service? No, it just got submitted, and there was a little over 5,000 comments, a little short of the 1 million drivers that there are, but still a lot of comments for them. And so now they're going to take it into advisement, and there should be something early next year. That's what they were saying about hours of service. So that there's no further information on that. Outing the trucking companies is fine, but outing the shippers and receivers and brokers for abuse. Well, really, look, who's abusing you? Let's be honest. If you're at a shipper and sitting there, who's abusing you? Your company. Your company's the one that isn't paying you. Okay, if you got paid about it, why wouldn't you want to get paid, right? The problem is you're being abused by your company. If the shipper makes you sit there, you should still be paid. And then it's up to your company, because your company has to deal with the shipper, not you, really. So I think it's still your company that's abusing you by saying, sit there for free. That's the problem. You made 2940 miles this week and bought a new car. That's nice. In 1 week, you were able to purchase a new car with 3,000 miles. That is awesome. Swift is now paying $550 a week, and over 40 is extra pay while training. That's not bad. Do a video of Maverick. It's a great company. I have a video of Maverick up there, and I've said to many people that Swift is not nearly the worst company, although they get a lot of grief, right? They have a better program than a lot of places. What's the craziest... why are you talking bad about our company? Nice. Swift Trucking is on here. Look, I've said Swift is not the worst company out there, and I've told people to call it. What's the craziest place I backed a trailer? Probably New York City, right? I backed into Brooklyn with a full trailer reefer, and I had to drop the trailer because I was across the street all the way right to a fence, and traffic couldn't get by. And then I got a call like 5 minutes later. We have a record here that your trailer is just fallen off of your truck, basically is what they're saying. Could you check it? I go, I know, I dropped it in the dock here because I'm unloading. Well, we go, it's turned off. We noticed it. I go, I know, I'm right here, and they want it off to unload. So that kind of stuff is crazy. There's thousands of those kind of docks, though, believe me. But you're right across the street to the thing. So New York City. Smith has the black trucks, right? They'll make 190 to lose 10 million in a lawsuit. Yeah, once it's got to be a lot, or they don't care. The company that pays a trainee $300 a week for 6 to 10 weeks is going to pay up. There are places that pay more than $300. Believe me. You're going to be replaced by self-driving trucks. You'll never see it. You will never see the whole industry get replaced by self-driving trucks. No way. I'm on record as saying that it will be decades and decades before there's any kind of numbers of these trucks. Meaning 10,000 or more of them even on the road. It's going to be a long time. If you get rid of the 14-hour clock and 34-hour reset, I think the ELD will be okay. No, I'm no fan of that. How many hours a day do I need to work? No way. Get rid of the 14-hour clock. They'll work you 24 hours a day. You'd never end. Swift is the best. Swift says they're the best, at least. Yes, gear grinder is 100%. We will long be dead before trucks drive themselves. People being born today might start training in trucks that drive themselves. Swift actually has a few good dedicated accounts, but not switching companies. Yes. I have found that a lot of these places, large mega carriers, people write to me. The ones that are happy there are on dedicated accounts. So if you want to go there, they have all of them, right? Seem to have dedicated accounts, and there are tons of happy people write to me. Oh, I'm at, X mega carrier, and I'm on a dedicated run. And so I think that's maybe the solution at one of these larger companies. You still get all the benefits and can still have, a dedicated run. Look, right. Kim has a good dispatcher, a new truck, 2 fridges. Why would you have 2 fridges? How much food you got in there? Need to get rid of the 34-hour restart. Well, then here again, right? Once we start taking away this time, companies are going to work us to death. Get rid of 30-minute break. That's agree, because that cut out of our pay for the same amount of day, which rhymed. I love it. And that can go away. I agree. Oh, man. Triple rhyme. Man. Thanks, Gear Grinder. I appreciate it. You only been driving a year and you make more than you did now than I did unloading trucks. But they do hose you. They do. But you got a year, you can go anywhere you want now. Keep that in mind. You can go almost anywhere they want. Hey, Swift Knight is better than you. Aren't they the same? They're like brothers now. I need to be the next Hoffa. I don't want to do that. Thank you very much, but I don't want them finding me in some cement post somewhere. Yeah, because where's he? Gone. That's not good. There's different in a company driver and independent. No, it shouldn't be. I mean, we don't want to. If you got to work more than 14 hours a day, look, let's be honest. You're not making enough money. That's crazy. That's plenty of hours. If you can't make enough in 14 hours, you got to find something else to do. That is plenty of time to work. Nice, Swift. I love it. You remember when JB Hunt was a dump company? JB Hunt just ran an ad today here in the Indianapolis area. 70,000 home every day. Running or delivering for Amazon. There's an Amazon warehouse just south of me here. 70,000. You're dedicated to that. Home daily, day cab, no touch, drop and hook. Not bad to start. And 7,000 sign on. Not bad. You drive your 11, then rest 10. I think that will work. You got to have a limit here. You said eliminate the 14 hours. So I'm not a fan of that, right? What can be done about the shippers and receivers that don't have restrooms? I'm on, right. Shippers and receivers, if they're going to have people in there, they should allow restrooms. And really, your company, you should call the company and they shouldn't let you go there. That's crazy. Somebody needs to post that kind of video, right? Get a list of those places. Take a video of that and post it and get that out there and say, what the heck is going on? Call the corporate office of whatever that shipper is too and say, I was here and so there's no bathroom, so we're going to have to go to the bathroom outside. Most of the times it's the local people that do that. It's not, the corporate wants you to be able to come in there, whatever. Call the corporate office of that company. Use the parking lot. You shouldn't have to use the parking lot. How about the ladies too? They don't want to, nobody really wants to do that, but that's gross, really. Come on. Swift owns Knight. Oh, sorry. They will get tired of it, but that isn't a good reason. That's not the good way to do it. Call the corporate, get on the corporate email. Everybody's got a website. Get on there and take pictures and say, look, this is the story here. Why am I not being treated like a professional? You want your freight? I can't come back anymore until I get a bathroom. Jody, hello from Oklahoma. Good to see you. Most of the change will be abused by companies. Yes. To work for more unpaid time. We don't want any more unpaid time. We have plenty of that. Self-driving trucks are easy to rob. What are you going to... Oh, the trailer? Oh, probably wouldn't be any different than anybody else that's in it. And they'd be less easy to rob because the self-driving truck wouldn't have to stop. It doesn't need a break. It doesn't need to rest. It doesn't need to do anything other than get fuel. Yes, that is correct. Swift drivers do hate you because you only hire the best there. If they bar you, just remind me that you'll be throwing a rabbit in the briar patch. Yikes. Mike, thank you. I appreciate for saying that. That's gross, Michael. We shouldn't have to do that. The thing is, we shouldn't have to do that. If they want to have people come in and deliver the freight, they need to provide a bathroom. Thanks, Gear Grinder. What do you get when you see a Swift truck leaving the truck stop? 2 empty parking places. That's good. That's almost as good as the people that have the CRST letters, which I love the best, right? There's a parent company that owns them both. The Knight family owns a controlling interest. Knight owns Swift. Oh, gripes. Knight, what a disaster. It's all paperwork, right? It's all just some kind of paperwork to save something. You drive a trash truck. They just advertised here. Waste Management was running an ad. And I love the ad that said, some, and it says in bold letters, some of our trucks are equipped with a fan for driver comfort, but no air conditioning. And it said, you will be exposed to unpleasant sights and smells daily. I thought that was the greatest ad for a trucking company I've ever seen, Waste Management. They're hiring here in town. Home every day. Unpleasant sights and smells. That's the understatement of the year, I would say. Self-driving truck first accident lawsuit. It'll be a disaster. To start with, it's going to be a problem. That's why it's going to take so long. They're going to get a few. One's going to break down and hit somebody or go crazy. Did anybody see the movie Trucks with Timothy Busfield? Who remembers that movie? That's the future if the trucks start driving themselves around. Who remembers that movie? Republic Services outpays, another garbage company, right? But I just thought, I saw that Waste Management, not a garbage company, a garbage truck company, I guess. But I saw the Waste Management ad where it says unpleasant sights and smells. Yeah, really? And an unair conditioned truck, which is what you want in the summer. Why do companies lie to you when they say the employment check came back good, and then they tell you employment didn't come back? I will tell you why they would lie to you once they get you there, because when some companies bring you in, they get some kind of grant, some government money or grant just once you show up. So then if they can boot you, then they still get their money. So they get their money and you're gone and they don't care. They already got paid. So they can only take the select people they want, but other people they can still get there and then boot you. That could be one reason they do that. Is there such thing as a 24-hour reset? No. Who's responsible for the self-driving truck wrecks? They're working that out, right? I'm sure at the current time it will still have to be insured. And who is there to sue? The person that programs the computer? We don't know yet. They're going to work that out. It's going to happen as it goes by, probably. Head Guard Transportation is paying 80 cents a mile, no benefit. Volvos are junk. Nice, says Kenworth, of course. Maximum Overdrive was... No, the name of the movie I'm talking about is Trucks with Timothy Busfield. It was a great movie. I think 12 people actually saw the movie. So, let's see. CR England, that might be. Yeah, it's time to move out of there for sure. Self-driving wrecker. Oh, that's very good. There's no reason the wrecker couldn't drive itself also. It'll all be self-driving. We'll all just stay at home. We won't have to go anywhere. Timothy is freezing up because he's in a different country. So I still look good here relative to, everything else, certainly. Maximum Overdrive was good. Trucks, right? Trucks with Timothy Busfield it's an older movie. And the trucks all drive themselves around. But, of course, they are murdering trucks and go out and kill everybody. And they force him to fuel the trucks up, stuff like that. Yeah, Gear Grinder, that's what I'm saying, right? I'm looking good over here. On both screens, I got the dual screen. Nice. The maintenance costs, well, you will have less oil changes, everything. The truck never idles. It only delivers freight. It'll be more efficient, so the truck will make more money. It never needs to stop. It's like the Terminator. It doesn't care. It doesn't take off on holidays. It doesn't have sick days. It doesn't have any days. It just drives the freight around. And then we'll all just be relegated to local drivers. That's initially. And then eventually those trucks will deliver right to where they're going. How many drivers would give up closet and underbunk storage for a shower in their sleeper and be trusted to dump tank at a legit place? Well, some of them would probably give up storage for it, but I don't think that many would dump at an RV place, really. Self-driving trucks are killing machines. I totally agree with that. Cardinal offered you a job. And yeah, we haven't talked about Cardinal here, right? But they don't repay loans. They want you to work 6 days a week. Wow. 1 a.m. to 12 p.m. Well, it depends. They pay hourly. If it pays hourly, here's the thing. If they don't repay a loan, most places pay a couple $100 a month or whatever. What if you made, $500 a month or $1,000 a month more there? You could repay your own loan and still make more money. So it just depends what they're paying, right? 6 days a week is a lot to ask of anybody, every single work. I mean, I pop in for a Saturday once in a while, but I wouldn't want to do it every week. Oh, Mr. Ches, good afternoon. It's nice to see you too. Welcome back. Get rid of the 34-hour reset, make it a 48-hour reset. Wow. Then we're getting some time off, right? At least I like the way you're thinking. Less work time, not more work time. Did 632 miles in a 62-mile-an-hour truck. That's incredible. You had 0 issues that day, apparently. You must have pulled right off and got right back on the highway, for sure, for your 30-minute break during the day. That's like almost like max. Nice. Trucks was the short story Maximum Overdrive from. Trucks is a full-length movie, which is sometimes on TBS or whatever. Check it out. It might be on YouTube for all I know. I never looked for it. There's some stuff on there. I'm sure it's free by now. It must have come out 20 years ago. So, yeah. You went back to driving tankers. Nice. How's that going? Looking into some tanker jobs here like Questliner. What do you think about that? You did 80 down some few hills. That's all right. Let that thing roll down there. Good fuel mileage where you're coasting, right? Yeah, I've been looking into Questliner here for a company. What do we think about that? I think it's looking pretty good. You're doing 610 on a good day. Nice. And end up with 30 minutes left. Yeah. Depends how fast your truck goes. I've always said that the truck should go the speed limit wherever you are because you don't want to be holding up traffic. And so a truck that goes, faster gets you more miles. 68, that's better than most, right? I'm only at 65, so... It's hauling lube oil out of Exxon. Oh, nice. All right, good. There should be plenty of that out of there. Then the movie version was released. All right, I don't know the whole history of it for sure. Everybody has more history on it, but apparently I'm the only one that liked the movie. Keep the RPMs up while coasting. Why would we do that? We're Georgia overdriving this thing down here. 95 is better. That's cruising, right? But I do think you should be able to go the speed limit. So if it's 80... go 80, right? And make some miles up, for sure. I guess if you own the truck, you can set it at whatever you want. 88's the fastest I've ever been in a truck, and that's the fastest the truck would go, and that's been many, many years. Running air freight from O'Hare to JFK. What do I think of DPF deletes? I've never heard that you could delete the DPF on an engine that otherwise requires it. I don't think it's allowed. You probably could do it yourself. You won't get a shop to do it, for sure. How do I like driving in West Virginia? Like every other state. I-68 is awesome, right? Way smooth and everything. I like how flat it is. What is good pay for a fuel delivery driver? Depends where you are. That should be hourly because you're sitting there unloading every day, right? We got a pilot down here in Crawfordsville, I think it is, that runs tankers out of there. But as far as I know, they're day cabs and they're home every day. So I can only assume they're paid hourly. I've never asked them. So I'm 95 miles, drive faster, die faster. That's the way it goes, man. You should be able to do the speed limit. You don't want to be holding people up. For sure. You want to be cruising. You smoke a pack of soot every day. Yikes. Cardinal said you would basically do 150 or 150 more per week. Yeah, but you're more home time with Werner, and that's worth more. How does Werner get you more home time than Cardinal, or is Cardinal gone a week? I guess I've seen some of their day cabs that run, because their Cardinal is a logistics company, for people that don't know. They run logistics for, other companies, and make deliveries for them or whatever. And so a lot of them are home every day, but some Cardinals, I guess, are gone every week. So if it's better somewhere else, then it's better somewhere else. Just because it's Werner doesn't necessarily mean you have a bad job there. You know, Werner just upped their speed too. I saw that. So 68, they're running ads about it. So it might be better somewhere else. It might be a better, hardly to believe, but Werner might be a better place. Just because it's a large company doesn't mean they're a bad place to work. Celadon told me they're going to have technology in the trucks that will detect the speed limit and allow you to reach that speed. No way. Yeah, up to a certain speed. I mean, cars do this already, okay? I've seen this in some cars. They can read the road signs, and it'll put a display up there for you. It doesn't hold the speed of the car up because it's a car, but they can read the road signs. There's no reason a truck couldn't do it as well, but they're not going to let you go 80 miles an hour. No way. What they'll probably do is say 65 or 70 or whatever, and then on places where it goes down, they could limit the speed of the truck to that speed. Absolutely. So you could go where it goes down to 35, bingo. No fuel till 35, right? It'd make you slow down. So that I could see that happening, absolutely. That technology is already available, and many higher-end cars already use it. Check it out. You can have the heads up or in your dash come up. I don't have it, okay? I'm not balling like that, but and nicer cars have it, and it'll display right there what the speed limit is in that area because it reads the road sign. Nice. Gemini. Oh, yeah, I thought we were talking about astrology here. You seen an ad for gasoline delivery at 80 grand? That's not bad. Home daily at 80,000? Who's griping about that? Companies that are not self-insured letting the insurance company dictate how they conduct business. That's how it always is. If the insurance company dictates it, then that's how they do it. They have no choice, or they won't get the insurance from that place. So there's no choice about it. It's Cardinal like XPO. Cardinal seems like it's like Hogan. That's how I would rate them. You know, Hogan does this third-party logistics stuff because they run ads around here where they deliver for a dedicated customer. That's how it works around here for them. So you're assigned to a customer and you're basically their truck, but the customer doesn't have trucks. You had a good fleet manager at Werner, just low pay. It depends. Your friend of mine works there for $240 a day, not bad. If they're home every day. Celadon is shutting the door soon. Yeah, maybe. That might actually happen. You're a retired Marine. What would be a good company for you? There's a lot of choices. It depends what you want out of a company. Do you want to be home? Do you want to be gone? What are we doing here? The DPF is deleting the filter and get rid of it. You can't go to dealer for work. Correct. Right. They have to put it back on. They're also not going to take it off. You're going to no warranty. No, if there's ever turns on an emissions test, I wouldn't do it. You probably get an engine light all the time. The truck's read signs are ready, right. The Bendix Wingman Advanced. Oh, nice. I don't have that one. Oh, it yells if you're 10 over the speed limit. Nice. We don't have we have a Bendix system, but I haven't heard of this Wingman Advanced. Nice. There's a place that pays attention after 30 minutes. Wow. It's only 10, but they pay. Take about $850 a week and home every night. Bad part, cameras in front. Yes. Well, we got to decide. Is the camera, is that enough to kill a good job off? I don't think so, but I think we should push to turn them off in there. When it's snowing, go up the hill and slow down. Make the self-driving truck pass you and keep turning into it. It'll drive itself off the road. I wonder what it would do. I don't know what it... See, that's the thing. They're going to have to decide if someone's encroaching their lane, do they keep their lane or will it drive off the road? That's an interesting way to program that truck. Why do some companies have a no rider policy? Liability. That person falls, they get sued, right? Like here, no riders here. A lot of companies, no passengers. Because somebody falls out of the truck, bingo. They sue company X, you're done. So they just figure, forget it. The schedule to run is 1 to noon. Ugh. I'd be asleep at like 6 to wake up at 12. So overnight. Well, tell the guy you'd be on it like an ant on a picnic. Nice. Tell the guy, look, I don't want to do overnights, which I totally agree with you. Leaving at 1 a.m., forget it. You know, I couldn't do it. But tell the guy, look, you got anything in the afternoon? Cardinal's a big place. That can't be the only thing they have. And if it is, say, well, call me when you get something at my time zone. You're going to fall asleep and kill somebody. The stuff is turned off for emissions. Nice. What about Mark Klotz's company making $2,000? I don't know who's Mark Klotz. I'm the new driver. I could stay out. Which company? Yeah, staying out. Depends. Okay, so if you don't have any money, go to try Rail, Millis, Maverick. If you got money, pay for truck school yourself. I like Rail because they have a lot of different programs. You can even be gone only 26 weeks a year and home the other half of the year. So as things change, you can change what you're doing there. That's one of the places that I like, that I give it a jingle jangle to. Maverick starts students at 52 cents. Right. 1,000 minimum and 2 extra cents into the rate. Maverick pays really good. Right. Is $8.50 a week good money? Net? Depends how many days it is. If you 5 days net, maybe. How does Newsbum hire CDL holders with no experience? That's a good question. I would have to look back at my own video. I think so. But I'm not 100%. Who knows that right here on here without me having to get a piece of paper? Home daily slip seat. I don't mind slip seating if you're back every day. He has to claim minimum pay. Holiday pay is 2 and 5 shifts. Ugh. Read flat earth. Yes. That's why the internet problems, because of the flat earth. We all know that. It's totally obvious just looking around it. I mean, looking on flat of it. Yeah, you can stay out right. That's what I'm saying. Check Maverick. You want to do some work? Check Rail, Millis. That's where I tell people to get started. But you call them and make sure they're right for you. Don't just blindly go in. You got to call and really ask them about stuff that's important to you and see if it fits what you're going to do. Your last paycheck at England was $325. You know, that's probably more than half the people there made. You'll email to me. Go right ahead. Sure wish I finished training. That's nice. Some Swift ones are good. I don't know why people had the most CRST. Maybe because it only had 4 letters. You work 5 12-hour shifts, and you make $9.75 a week and are home every night. Is that good for you? And is that gross? That's 60 hours for $9.75 is not great at all. Like, it's horrible. You're going to school next week. I'm able to take Valtrex. Are you able to take Valtrex? I don't know what Valtrex is, and I'm certainly not a doctor. That's something I'd have to look up. What is Valtrex? Is it like the purple pill? Swift is not bad. They get a bad rap due to their size. They were pretty bad for a while. Okay, but they have done a lot better. And looking into these, it's herpes medication. Nice. Yeah, you probably could take that. But look, Swift is not as bad as it was, right? It isn't. It's not terrible. So that's the best we can say for it. It's not terrible. Prime's training is not that great. They try to push everybody through. You regret not going to Millis or Rail. Can you switch? You can always switch. Prime, you know, at all these companies, even a good company that's a great company, if you get a bad trainer, it's bad. So, you know, there's good and bad at every place. You can get a horrible trainer and it's bad training, and you can go to a place that everybody thinks is horrible and you get a great trainer and it turns out to be a good company for you. So some of it is doing your homework, but some of it is just what has the roll of the dice. Whoever you happen to get that is going to be your trainer. It's just tough to predict. Yes, you'll void your warranty and engine. Totally right, without the DPF. So you're not going back to the dealer for anything. It's finished. You can only do that after your warranty's up. Your paycheck's 2,000 miles and $500. Oh! CRN England is begging you to stay. That's not... Oh, that's almost impossible. How would you make $500 on 2,000 miles? 12? That's still 12 and a half cents a mile. Becoming an owner-operator is the best thing you did. That's... If it's for you, do it, right? Kim runs comfortable, I agree. $325 at CR. That's crazy. That's 12 and a half cents a mile at $500 for $500. Who is in the running for Crap Company of the Year? Every company that has been Crap Company of the Week would be in the running. We'll vote probably, since Christmas I think is a Wednesday, we'll probably start the vote right before that, because I don't know if one will come out on Christmas. Nobody will watch it. You'll all be at your families or whatever. Best paycheck solo was $650. Well, it's time to bail out of that place at England. Swift University, I love that. They probably sell shirts and have that sticker that goes in the back of your car. Long ago, you got an hourly message from a driver saying they had to go 65 because they didn't want drivers milking the clock. can you see companies doing this to punish hourly drivers? Well, I don't know. I mean, there's no reason an hourly driver shouldn't run the speed limit. You know, it goes both ways. We want to be paid fairly for our time, but it's only fair that you work for the time that you're paid. So if the speed limit, like the minimum, say, is 45, it's not right for you to go 50 if you're paid hourly. It isn't right. You're stealing from them the same way that we complain that they steal our money. So if you're paid hourly, you should work, you should run the speed limit. You shouldn't do anything illegal, of course, but you should run the speed limit and do your job in the best way possible every day to earn your paycheck. You don't get to hose them on it because it's hourly. That isn't right. That's not right. Swift is not good, just the other companies have gotten worse. So they stay the same, but then that pushes them up in the everything. Houston Tank Service is no good. Nice. You're quite welcome about the per diem. I'm not a huge fan of it, as people saw, right? I don't like it. Your best paycheck solo is $1,400. Well, you'll do better. There are people on here claiming somebody claimed what they wrote to me about it, that they made $3,500 or something. Still waiting to see that evidence. Oh, Sierra England, 14 cents. Nice. You're looking for someone to drive in Chicago. Yeah, too bad. That's where I started out driving, and I lived up there and everything. Too bad I'm not up there. Good luck reading the speed limit when they're covered with snow. Yeah, there's no reason it also couldn't do it based on GPS. And then theoretically, I guess, if it doesn't know what it is, it just won't have a speed limit up there, and it won't hold the truck to any certain speed other than maybe the maximum speed in the state you're in if it doesn't know what the speed limit is. Let's see. How many months experience do you need to start at Maverick? None. Right away, they'll start you right away. Yeah, William, they said 3,500 as a company driver, but I haven't heard back from them. I go, yeah, let's see that. I go, there's no way, right? And so waiting to hear back. You average over a little 1,000 after taxes as a single driver with in a full-size truck with Prime. Does Prime have like half-size trucks? Or are you talking about their lightweight trucks? Maverick does take students, yeah, and I thought they had a pretty good deal there, especially the pay being quite good to start. What is a good company for a guy living in Tampa? Well, you can go to any of these companies because they'll transport you to where they are. But you'll have to, when you're calling around, you'll have to make sure that they have freight that goes to Tampa, Florida, if you ever expect to see your house again. So some company that doesn't really run Florida much is not going to be the best place for you to go, certainly. And no flatbed, right. You're not going to get a lot of flatbed freight going into Florida except during hurricane season. So, it depends. Who's in your area in Tampa? There's got to be companies there. What large company is around you? And find them. Because you've got a home time problem living there. Klotz Trucking is the company name. Yeah, I never heard of that. I guess because there's so much. Why not flatbed in Florida? It's all fruit trees, right? Yeah, check out the port. You could do a drayage company at the port and be home every day, maybe. Some guy let his kid drive his truck on the freeway and post it on YouTube. Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good way to get fired. This Cardinal runs in Florida. Okay. Am I crazy for wanting to leave 37-hour in bus driving job to drive an 18-wheeler? It depends what you want to do. Money isn't everything. Just because you get good money doesn't mean anything. Have I ever driven a flat nose? Oh, yeah. No problem. That was what was out when I started driving. Was basically all cab overs. Yeah, Saya. Oh, that's a good point, right? We don't talk about Saya either. There's always Saya in Florida and everywhere, right? Everybody's got Saya around. You started at Swift in January, and they seem like the better side of mega company training. I've said that Swift is not bad, right, like it used to be. Many years ago, they had a horrible reputation. They've tried to clean that up. They've raised their pay. They've gotten these dedicated runs. It's not what it used to be. If you can get on a good dedicated run there, people seem to like it. You're in Brownsburg. Is that close to me? It's not bad, right? You're not that far away. What's going on in Brownsburg today? Can I imagine an automated truck merging on the highway? How can I see what's behind them? Well, the other automated trucks would move over to let it merge in, presumably. because they'll all talk to each other. Yeah, they have lightweight and full size, right. Full size pays a cent. I've saw that at Prime. If you get one of these lightweight trucks with a half a sleeper or whatever, you get another nickel a mile. So if you can tolerate that, you get more money. Prime, I don't necessarily like the schooling that much because a lot of the things that they provide you, they say, oh, we're providing you this in school, but then they take it out of your check. So it's not really being provided to you. It's like an advance. They start taking money out of your check for this and that at the end of school, food and stuff like that. So that's not great. They should be more upfront about that. Not that it's provided to you. You have a good dedicated run with Swift, 95% drop and hook. Yeah. So here you are, right? So you're at Swift with a drop and hook dedicated run. Well worth it. You got done at Roadmaster. Nice. So you took care of that yourself, I hope. That's your plan, Target or Walmart. I've seen Swift running Target trucks all over the place here because there's a Target warehouse in Ohio. And so the Swift trucks are forever over here running Target trailers around. Nice. Oh, Mad Maldy. Nice. Nice to see you here today. YRC Management is no good. YRC is one of the companies that I've recommended to people that want to be local. They'll take students at least here. Even as a student, they'll take you on, and then you get a job there after your training, and they're no problem. Target doesn't have a fleet. It's Contractor. All I'm saying is I've seen Swift trucks running Target trailers around. Swift has dedicated runs for Target out of Atlanta. They have some, because my family still lives in Chicago area, Hammond, Indiana. They have a warehouse somewhere over in Illinois for Sam's Club that Swift has runs out of there as well, dedicated runs for Sam's. It's somewhere up there on 80 somewhere. Maybe it's further out, 80 by Joliet. Can an ordinary lights drive a straight truck under 26,000 pounds that is not hazmat? Yes. Because hazmat needs a CDL. Picking up from the Target DC, that's good. Called Newsbound, thanks to me. How did it go? They sound like a good company. Oh, good. Thank you. I'm the most nervous about doing those. I'm always worried because people are going to call, I think, and then if the place turns out to be garbage, then, I'm down the toilet. So I'm glad that they're being good to you. It seemed like a really good place, and I like the base salary there. I just love. And $230 a day for holidays, that's great. You hate Ohio? Well, there are worse places. Schneider, JB Hunt, and U.S. Express. Yeah, Kenworth. Can they get you home in Florida? That's the thing. Do they run Florida enough to get you back, or is it, 21 days out? Or maybe you don't matter. Maybe the person doesn't make any difference to them. You'll be contacting Newsbaum in a year. Why are you going to wait a year? Do you you have a contract? I thought Swift didn't do contracts. They do a contract for the school. You'll have to explain it. I saw somewhere Swift doesn't do a contract like everybody else does. They did their truck school a little different than everybody else did. A couple Crete drivers in Florida. All right, maybe they have runs that go down there. Maybe a Schaefer can get you down there. A lot of people do complain. I do care about the drivers, and thanks for saying that. I want to get trucking changed. It's just crazy. It never changes, and we need to take some kind of action. So let's get it changed. Let's do it. Oh, you're just assuming you have to get your year's experience. All right, fine. Yeah, then give them a call. If they only hire the Midwest, so you need to live over here somewhere. Newspawn does not have a large hiring area. Best check was $1,900 gross. Nice for a week. That's more like it. Maverick are testing at Kenworth. So are they automatics at Maverick or manuals that they're testing on? Yes, they run OTR. Yes. Anyone heard about Big M? Are they like the Big G trucking? Big M trucking? And how many miles are we doing 1,900? That's not bad at Smith. Hopefully they give you good pay other than the mileage in case you had to sit around for that. Newsbaum, they hire for in Atlanta. You just have to stay out 2 weeks. Newsbaum has like a double hiring area. They have like a closer into Illinois area where you get home every weekend. And then they have like this grayer area that goes farther out where you're home every other week because it's not their main area. And that's all like Midwest and, east of Illinois mostly. And then part of it, and then beyond that, they just don't hire you because they can't get you home. Red, good to see you here. Should you stick with Prime or move to another company? I don't know. What is the deal there? You're not getting any money. Why do you want to move? That's the question. You're already there, so why do you want to leave there? What is it that's compelling you to think you should leave? Guaranteed pay is the only way to go. Yeah, I like a base pay, so you don't have to worry. D-Boy says a lot of OJ companies hiring out of Florida. Yeah, and if the company doesn't fit, you should have quit it, for sure, an OJ company. Red, it's going great. It's always great here in Indiana. Waiting for the snow to come. It snowed a little over the weekend. Anybody else get flurries? I got a few flurries, and the wind blew the heck out of the place. It blew a truck over in Illinois. It blew my front mat out. It just was a mess. So we're back to normal today, though. When you were at Maverick, they're testing on 10-speed. Good. Hopefully they have manuals that they'll test you out on. Hear anything about Big M? You don't have any juicy gossip? Who's got juicy gossip out there to spread about Big M? Looking for a company to start at a hazmat tanker. You know, if you have experience, I like Questliner, that I've been looking into. Questliner. Check them out. I don't think they take you without experience, though. Mr. Skeptical, what are you busy? What's going on? I see that, what's going on down there. Good to be here. Thank you for coming in, though. California is a dumping ground. I don't know how you afford to live there, no matter what it is, for sure. Yes, so Mr. Skeptical, what do you got, a couple more weeks down there? I mean, it was a total mess. 3,500 fed in 4 days. Nice. That's great, Mr. Skeptical. I love that picture of the huge line. For people that don't, Mr. Skeptical, he drives a Danny's truck and feeds people, all over the country that are helping everybody else, the responders and everything. I think it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. Gear Grinder, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And thanks for coming in. That is super nice of you. I super appreciate it. Thank you very much. Depends on the customer. Your company is small and we're out of Central Illinois. But if you live in Carolinas, you can get home every week because you have loads constantly going that way. Yeah. Part of when you're calling, be sure when you're calling to ask, can you get me home? Depending on where you live, especially if you live on the edge of the country. There may or may not be a load going to you, and so they may hire there, but it's 3 weeks, every 3 weeks before you can get home. And the problem is, in an emergency or some kind of problem where you need to get home, they may not have much freight going your way, so that may or may not be a company that you want to go with if they don't really run your area. It's really important that they can get you back if they need to get you back. Yeah, it was super windy. They had winds here to 54 miles an hour here in Lafayette yesterday. It was crazy. Been with Stevens for 5 months. Really? Your experience has been great. Your best check's 1,200. That's amazing. 3,200 miles a week, but 36 cents isn't enough. Man, how do you make $1,200 on 36 cents? That's crazy. Hazmat is more trouble. It's worse. Sometimes it pays extra. It pays extra sometimes. Forget Averett. Schneider pays 49 cents to train on a tanker. Oh, Schneider. Training on tankers at Schneider. Dude, thank you very much for that. I super appreciate it. I am appreciative. Thank you. A lot of freight be heading towards the Panhandle. Yeah, you may be headed over there soon. You could have come up here and fed people up here. There were lines down. There's still people without power from yesterday here in Lafayette, or from Saturday in Lafayette. Swift is a year contract, covers the school, right? And then 2 year for the second year. Okay, right. Swift, let's talk about this. Swift has a 2-year contract if you go to school there. So the first year after you're out of school, they take money out of your check, and you can correct me if I'm not right on this, for the school. And then the second year, they basically put it back in. And so if you stay the full 2 years, there's no cost for schooling. And I think I'm right on that. We'll see in just a second. But that's how I think it works, right? But you're also getting your raises and stuff like that as time goes by. Yeah, you know how windy it was running south of 57. That's where that truck was on 57. It was in the news. Just finished bulk training for Schneider. No complaints. That's good. Schneider is big into all this different kinds of stuff. They don't do that much bulk like the other stuff, so that might be a better deal to get into it, Schneider, really. Okay, thank you, Dragon. That's how Swift works. That's what I thought. Right. 2-year deal. Pay it. You pay. They pay you back. Not the best way to do it, but it is a way. It's another way to do it with really hardly any money out of your pocket. Is tanker that big of a hassle? Depends what you're hauling. So, it depends what you're hauling. I did orange juice, so not a huge problem. I didn't think. But I was dropping hook OJ. So, the wind, wind is worse than snow. How about snow and wind together? That's even worse. 40 is about my limit where I start to get nervous at 40-mile-an-hour crosswinds. And then, getting towards 50, that makes me really nervous. Especially when I get a trailer, and maybe I just think this, right? With the underneath fairing that's underneath the trailer, that really bothers me that the whole side, there's no way for the wind to get around it. So those of you tanker drivers, right, I'm sure you like the windy days better than van people because it isn't any problem when you're round like that. You've been in Panama City? Wow. Since Friday, nice. I always wanted to ask you, do you sleep in the truck or do they motel you each night? Mr. Skeptical. I'm just curious about how they do that there at that place. I guess because you're working all day still. But I was always wondering if they give you a motel or whatever. I guess no one has looked into Questliner. I was always curious if anybody looked into that. But that's hazmat tankers. And so it's a division of Food Liner. And so, and it seems to pay really, really good. So that's what I'm thinking for hazmat tanks, Questliner, and maybe Food Liner for regular tanks. CFI is 1 year drive. Each month, this subtracts 1/12. That's fair. That's how most places are. I think actually England is maybe 9 months now, but expect a year. If you're new, you can expect that if you go to truck school at no money out of your pocket, you finally will have the school paid for at almost every place by the end of 1 year. If you stay, you can have no money out of your pocket, a new career, CDL in your pocket, go anywhere you want, stay there, get a dedicated run, whatever you want to do. Have I done tanker? Yes, I've run orange juice in a tanker. And I ran a suction tanker for a little while, and only for even a short time, I had a cryogenic tanker and ran liquid nitrogen to hospitals. How many times have you had an actual tailwind? Not enough times. It's always from the side. You went by that wreck on 57. Oh, it didn't. The picture was from far away on the news. That's not good. They had the pigs. The athlete was another pickup, but someone went in critical condition. Never. People that are watching this, which is probably not many that don't drive a truck, never run next to a truck. Okay, pass them, get behind them. Don't stay back there because you get pummeled with rubber when my tire explodes, and don't sit next to me because I tip over. Just stay away. Okay, you stay in the sleeper. Okay, that's I always wondered what they did with you. That's interesting. Pulled a class 6 hazmat. What is 6, right? How much work is a tanker? Can you lift a lot? It depends, Cynthia. It depends. Some of them are easier than others. If you don't have to climb up there, right, it's not a problem. If just hooking up hoses and a gravity fed or whatever. So it's more work than a van. If you want to do something that is not a ton of work, van is your best bet because it's probably the least work. That's what I think. Almost every company now doesn't want you unloading the truck. So van is the way to go for the least amount of physical labor. Tanker is going to be more work than that. But some of them are more work than others. The hoses can get heavy. It's winter time. So yeah. I don't have any opinions on Frey Miller, but that's why we're here, though. Who knows about Frey Miller at the moment? CR England puts your loan into a 5-year loan until the last month and pays it off. Really? They didn't tell me anything about that. You got to be there 5 years? They didn't say that about when I called them. When is the 30-minute break going? They're looking into changing the hours of service at the beginning of the year. They'll have more information about it. Over 5,000 drivers did leave comments. Now, some of those are duplicates or whatever, and they're going to go through them all, and beginning of the year, they're going to have what they're going to do about it. You're behind Maverick when his trailer tires blew? Yeah, look, and Maverick's got a lot of super singles, don't they? So you want that thing exploding in you if you're in a car especially? Yes, Cynthia, Comfortable Man says he wouldn't mess with it. If you got some kind of physical limitation, that kind of job may not be for you, but there is something for you to do. Oh, Crete, Schaefer, and Hunt have a terminal in DeLand, Florida. That's interesting. Smith is 48 cents a mile loaded for 3,900 miles. That's a big week there, sir. That's a nice check. Can't do that every week, but every once in a while pop in a huge check like that, that's nice. What happened? A truck driver slowing down in bad weather. A truck was wrecked on 20 East leaving Texas. Some drivers push it because of the hours of service, certainly, which is not contributing to safety in any way. And some drivers are just reckless. Let's be honest about that. You know, and some think that they can drive better than they do, and it isn't going to be a big problem. I totally agree. Drivers should be slowing down in any kind of bad weather, rain, wind, whatever it is. Take it easy out there. I mean, this is your job to be professional. You see something about a camper that got blown over? No. I saw in the news, I didn't see it right, a semi was blown over on 57 in that windstorm here. You have to be there a year, but instead of paying 1/12th, they pay 1/60th. Oh, nice. Got it, Duke. So what we're saying is England apparently has a 5-year payout on this loan. So they, for your first year, for the first 11 months, they pay 1/60th of the loan off, and then in your 12th month, they pay off the loan, making it a 1-year payback, which is what they told me. So if you leave in month 11, they've only paid 11/60th of your loan off. Is that what I'm understanding? You would have then 49/60ths of the loan to pay back. Nice. Nice. Thank you, comfortable man, for that info, right? So that's Duke. That's crazy. That's that. They didn't mention that when I talked to him. That's interesting. So 5 years, and then at the end of 12, they basically balloon pay you the last one. So really, and a 10th or 11th month really encourages you to stay that next month, because they're paying off maybe 49/60ths of the loan. How much is the total loan? Let's ask that at England. They sort of suggested it was like $7,000 to me, if I remember right. Yeah, so they're going to get people that are close to that year at least to stay for a year, no matter what they do to you. So for $300 a month, a week, you might still stay because they're about to pay off $5,000. That's the best job you've heard. There's better places than that out here that we're going to talk about here, I'm sure. Isn't that crazy? Who thinks that's a good idea? That's just to encourage you to stay your year, of course. You did your CDL there at 7 days. You get your CDL on the 9th day and you flew home. Hopefully you flew back. Otherwise, they only pay 9 of 1/60th of your total loan, which is nothing. And I always wondered from people that have left, do they chase you around? And it's not just England. Do these places chase you around for your money? Has anybody left a company early and had a contract, and what did they do about it other than writing you a letter? I mean, what did they seriously do about it? A letter we can throw in that circular file. Has anybody been legally chased, like sued or anything like that, other than just a nasty letter? Or has anybody had it put on their credit? I'd like to see that too. Oh, say $5,900. Oh, the interest. Oh, nice. They'll also waive the interest. So $5,900 at 17%, which they'll go back to the beginning of the loan, I'm sure. Nice. Yeah, facts over feelings. It almost is entrapment. Sounds almost illegal. The rate is okay. It's super high, but not illegal. Huh. No, a year and a half after they settled for $700, they sent a letter saying you paid it in full. So, okay, so they settled. They just sent you a letter and you paid it. Has anybody had it go farther than that where you didn't pay it? You left swift or leave. They did not pursue it. I wondered about that. They kind of just leave you alone about it, and they figure, it's just part of our business plan. We know people are going to quit. So a couple of drivers broke their contract and put it on their credit. That's interesting. So you have this loan then on your credit. I wonder if you dispute it. I wonder if they would uphold it. School is a scam. Well, school's a way to get your license for free. I mean, it is, let's be honest. It's a way to go and get your license if you're willing to go there for free. Not everybody has the money to go to truck school. I understand that. I had to get a loan for my grandfather to do the down payment on my school, which I had to pay him back. He made me sign for it. And school was $1,500. So that's how I went to a private truck school. But I wouldn't have been able to pay for it. That's a con job, I agree. I didn't self-pay. I got a loan but tested out. Wish you could have paid cash, 18%. Still, you still got a job and it's less than college. Let's look at it like this. Purdue here, expensive. England harassed you. You threatened arbitration and left you alone. Yeah, just harassing. That's nothing legal, so that we can do that. You spent a day in school for Schneider, and they said you'd be charged, but nothing came of it. So what we're seeing, I guess, is people are being left alone other than, well, now I see CRST put on your credit and sued you. Well, how'd that go? And do they sue you there? Oh, my gosh. So then they would get a judgment. There's no reason. I guess they could get a judgment. You legally owe them the money. You're trying to break your contract, you'll still owe the money. Taking you 24 months to pay back $7,000, still worth it. It's still cheaper than college. There are people that are going to pay 40 years back $186,000 for an art degree that they're never going to use. Monica, hello. You didn't go to school. Yeah, there were a lot of people that didn't go to school. There are their own loan company lawyers and trucking school. Yeah, some of them have their own lawyers just on staff. So they say it's a legal firm. It's the guy in the next desk. It isn't some legal firm. It's Joe next door in the next desk. You did the old-fashioned way. That's driving a farm tractor. That's why you're from a lot of people. Joshua, hello there. There's a tanker driver for people that were asking about that. If we legally log, we could get paid for all dock time. I totally agree. Look, you should log everything legal. Shut down the freight by running legal. Don't stop for a week. Just run legal. It'll be a total disaster. Chad England is, yeah, everybody there's named England, right? Chad England is over the lawyer part. You got a lien on your house and garnish wages. You could have the house lien removed. That, I know that for sure. They're not allowed to lien your property for that because they don't have an interest in it. You didn't sign your property over to them. So you could have that lien removed, although you'd still have to pay the loan. You got grandfathered in. I got grandfathered in also to the CDL, but I still went to truck school. I still had to go to truck school to get my original Illinois D-class license. All drivers should keep a log of dates and times they sit at shippers. Yes, and then they should file with the state saying they're sitting and not being paid. Every week that you don't get paid, you ought to file so you can get paid. Saul, thank you very much, and hello to you. I appreciate that. Thank you. You left CRST because you got a check for $10. How do you get a $10 check? Now, come on. You can't get $10? Schneider will buy out your contract. A lot of places, look, if you go somewhere and you owe money to a truck school, they pay you X dollars a week or whatever for your truck school. So it's $100. I've seen $100, $150 a week, $80, whatever it is. So you can get it paid back still and may still be able to pay it off that way. That's for sure. Schneider will buy it. Okay, so Sierra England, your license was revoked because school didn't meet state requirements. Swift had that problem too. Do you remember that years ago? The school in Tennessee had some kind of testing problems, and everybody had to come back and retest. So you must have had to do the same thing. England did not inform me that you would have an automatic restriction on your license. You had to retest to get the restriction off. That is correct. If you do not test in a manual, you get the automatic restriction. I don't think it's as big a problem as it's made out to be. It is limiting for sure. England, Swift, and Knight are married into each other. Oh, so that's why they don't talk bad about each other. Yeah, they don't want to get smacked at the family dinner table. I agree. How does CRST do that? Thomas, good to see you as well. CRST broke the contract with you and wanted to suspend your license. Oh, yeah, look, some of these places threaten that too. We should say that. Because a truck school, CRST, or any school company, they don't get to suspend your license. It doesn't work that way. That's your license. So don't let them bamboozle you with that. Like, oh, we're going to suspend your license. No, because you owe us money. There isn't debtor's prison. There isn't license suspension for that kind of money being owed. Only the state suspends for child support and that kind of thing. A company, which is a private company, doesn't get to suspend your CDL. They cannot do it. They can't. You use that as a basis for arbitration and backed up. That's interesting. You know, they probably have an arbitration clause. Why don't they want to go to arbitration? They're the ones that would probably win in it. Werner pays $250 a month. That's probably enough to pay your loans off. So if you went somewhere else that is paying the school, $250 a month ought to be enough to pay off your loan. They cannot suspend your license because this paid the CDL. Yeah, look, and Gundy here is correct. The CDL is yours. They can threaten, stomp around and cry all they want. They cannot suspend your license. Don't let them tell you that ever. They cannot suspend your license. It's yours. It doesn't matter who pays for it. It's your license. Otherwise, they could just at any time suspend it. No, it's yours. XPOS CDL school, that's interesting. I'm seeing a lot of these companies, Old Dominion, Yellow, Holland, right? I've seen have schools where they'll take students, Hogan. You don't have to be gone. You can go local if you want to, if you need something you want to do. Arbitration clause is why they can't sue. They are bound by it, yes. But they would probably win because they're going to pick an arbiter that is going to be friendly. And plus, legally, you owe the money. So, I mean, they would likely win some type of arbitration. So, I don't know why they would back off of it. They put it in there. They would probably win the arbitration. So, there's no reason that they shouldn't do it. I would do it if I was them because you signed for it. So, probably you could. Transport America pays $300 a month. A lot of companies pay this. So, you can change and get this money and send it right to this company or whatever and still pay your student loan off. If you go and say you're going to make $200 a week somewhere else more, that's 10 grand a year. That's a lot of money. And they're going to pay off your student loan. Maybe worth leaving. Remember, they can't suspend your license. You might be heading to Montana to recover an abandoned rig and load. How's the weather? Let's find out. Who's in Montana watching right now? Last week I had people all over the world. Today we had Italy show up, but no Australia. Maybe Montana comes in here today. I would say it's iffy. And how's the abandoned recovery? Do they give you a key? And is that all you do? I saw a CRST truck with a hook on the back of a day cab, and I assume that's all that person does is go recover their abandoned trucks all over the country that have been, ruined from sitting or whatever. So it would be interesting to show up to a truck. You don't know what's going to be in that truck. There could be a body in that truck, for crying out loud. It's 84 in Wyoming, in Rawlins today. That's a change from a couple weeks ago. So it should be all right then. They have to pay for the arbiter in the state that you live, so maybe that added cost they have to eat could make it not worth the time. Yeah, maybe. So they think, oh, well, this is maybe, what they probably do. They send you this letter and that, and they think you'll just back down and pay it. And so they figure out all the people, some people will pay it, and it's worth it. And then the rest of it, they go, we'll just forget the rest of it. Do I think Newspawn will reimburse me? I don't know if Newspawn had a CDL school reimbursement or not. Fremont, Indiana, across the state, nice. I guess the key problem is to clean up. Decent money, though. Okay, good. Yeah, it should pay something, right? And Montana's when is Montana not windy? And is the truck sitting in a truck stop? I just think it's interesting. People are like, Mark, nobody cares. They don't want you telling an arbiter you've sit for hours at a shipper for free. Oh, that's interesting. You could bring up at the arbitration all the time that you're not paid for and say you want an offset for that time. That's very good. That's very good. Bring up at any arbitration you want an offset for all the unpaid time that they didn't pay you for. You'd probably only be able to demand minimum wage, but it could be hundreds of hours. What about working for an owner-operator as a contractor? You're not a contractor for the owner-operator. You are an employee. Is it legal? Well, I'm not a lawyer. Do I think it's right? No. And I did a video about this. If you go to the IRS website, you can look up, independent contractor questions. I forget, 1099 questions. The IRS has a bunch of questions that you can ask yourself about the situation that you're in. And then they help you determine whether you're an independent contractor. Number one, do you work for somebody else? right? Can somebody else dictate your day? And so if somebody else gets to dictate your day, you're an employee. Do they own the truck? Are they buying the fuel? You're an employee. So what do I think? I think you're an employee. And I think that guy just doesn't want to pay the taxes and stuff on you. So for me, no, I'm out of it. You're being misclassified, in my opinion. See your tax professional for details. Let's see. Log violations. Oh, all the log violations they made you do, you probably couldn't bring that up because the company would say, we don't make people do that. And the law would say that ultimately it's up to the driver to not violate the law. So that probably, log violations, probably not. Unless it's in writing where they say drive over your hours or something to that effect, you probably wouldn't be able to get them on a log violation because they'll say, well, we don't have drivers do that. That's up to drivers. They shouldn't do that. So that probably wouldn't work. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Duke, 84 in Wyoming, it's certainly possible. Do I recommend tanker? Yeah, maybe. If you want to run a tanker, sure. And I haven't found too many good starting companies. Somebody mentioned Schneider earlier, right? And that's not a bad idea. Schneider will train you on tanker, so that's a good way to do it. Sandy, man, right? I appreciate you coming in. Thanks for being here. Everybody stay safe on the road, and we'll see you on the next one, of course. 5% of the rig plus my standard 27% of the value of the load. Oh, nice. All travel with hotel. What are you doing this on your own? Nice. 5%. Who determines that? The value of the rig. CRL England puts 3 people in a truck. I couldn't believe it, and a number of people wrote to me about that, and yeah, there's a couple of students. Somebody wrote and said 3 students plus a driver, and I don't know where you sit. So, but I've seen people say 2. It's crazy. Does the trainer get double trainer pay then? I mean, how does that work? That should be illegal. I'm even on the fence about teaming, which I've said here before, whether that's even allowed. You certainly shouldn't team train. I think that's crazy. 2 students together is crazy. You're not being taught anything. Any company that does that is not really interested in training you. But putting 2 students in the truck, it's legal. The person in the back would have to be in the sleeper with the belts on, and the passenger would have a seatbelt on. So you could roll like that. But I don't know how anybody's being trained. I think it's ridiculous. Schneider for taking training is a good idea. Remember when you were Schneider, they are mom and dad. They probably are. I mean, they're a mega carrier, certainly, but there are not too many places that I see that offer tanker training if you don't have any experience. Now, experienced drivers generally can go to a tanker company and it'll say, yeah, you will train you on tanker. But if you have no experience, then you're going to need to go to a place that will take you with no experience on a tanker, which may be harder to do. CR is out of their minds. Yeah. Putting 2 in, how much money are they making? The truck would never have to stop, I guess, theoretically. It's just crazy. What do you mean, mommy, daddy? Well, they're probably watching over everything. I mean, as a company, that is an interesting way to put it. But does Schneider have cameras too? Oh, we should find that out too, right? Cameras at Schneider, we're not sure. But they will train you on tanker, and they have bulk, and they have vans and everything. So, they're pretty diversified. And around here, they run day cabs, so they also have that. You've heard trainers have 2 students at once and hardly drive. They get paid for their students doing all the driving. Oh, you could just rotate those 2 back and forth. What am I thinking about? I'm thinking the trainer's driving. No. 1 student drives, 1 sleeps, trainer up. You could log it all on duty, no problem. Then other student drives, sleeps, trainer, no problem. Okay. Trainer doesn't have to do anything, gets paid the whole time as students drive the truck constantly, and nobody gets taught anything. And presumably the trainer is just on their phone the whole time on Snapchat to all his friends saying, look at how stupid these people are for tolerating this. You should never tolerate that. No way. What are starting companies that don't make you train with teaming? Crete is one. Okay, Crete, I know Crete does not, and their trainers don't even train team. It's on their website, and they're very adamant about it to me, that trainers are up while you're driving, and they don't pair 2 students together. So I know for sure, right off the top of my head, they don't allow that. No cameras at Schneider. They don't team drive either. That's good. 1099s are big in the oil fields. You have an owner-operator that leases on with the company. Yeah, correct. But you're being misclassified. You're driving their truck, right? They get you the load. They pay for the truck. They put the plate on it. You don't have any investment in it. You're an employee. And I say if you got hurt there, I'd go file workman's comp and say I got misclassified and they need to pay. I for sure would do that. Trainers get 34 cents a mile. Why? Yikes. That's really low. Holy mackerel. Of course, the truck is doing 1,000 miles a day. That's still not great money, though. So the two of them put 1,000 miles, $340 to train two people a day. That's $1,500 a week. 7 days is $2,000. That's still not great to train two people. It should actually be more than that for two people. When does the trainer sleep? Oh, you'll have stops and stuff, right? And they're not going to run you 24 hours a day probably. And he may just have the guy get up and go sleep back there, or woman, right? Could be. Still put someone on the top bunk when the truck is moving? No. At England, the trainer does not have to be in the passenger seat. No one should be in the top bunk if it's moving, and it's not allowed, right? It's illegal. And the trainer should be in the passenger seat. One student in the bunk, rolled up in the seatbelts, because that's the law, and one driving, and that's legal. That would be legal. Nobody can be in the top bunk if the truck is rolling. They run the truck 24 hours a day. I don't know when he would sleep. He must have the guy or woman get up and say, I'm going to get some sleep. Maverick doesn't team drive either. Good. So we got Maverick also. Good. That makes it even better. How does a driver of 20 years become a trainer at a company, and how long would it take? Most places, 30 days. 30 days, and you just go in and go, I want to be a trainer here, and generally a month. Some places right away. Usually within a month, they'll make you a trainer. They give some train the trainer program or whatever, and you can start training there if you want to do it, right? I want only people that want to do it. Please don't do it about just the money. Want to train people to be drivers, because when people aren't trained properly, they quit the industry, and then they've lost their opportunity at a great career. So you should want to do it. Transport America student drivers. Trainer trains the student. Okay, good. When I trained, you put your 11, put your student in the seat, and then shut down for 10. That's the way it should be. You both sleep. Everybody gets a good night's sleep. Nobody's driving with somebody sleeping. The trainer needs to be up if you're being trained. How is the trainer trained when they're sleeping? You trained with England and had 3 on the truck? Okay, talk about us. Where was everybody positioned? And they run it 24 hours, so that's insane. Prime for your training the first week or two, don't really team drive. Then after it, that's kind of the way they do it. That's ridiculous. 2 people, teaming is not training. Let's just be honest about that. No teaming at Millis, good. When you get your CDL, if you and the trainer want to run like a team, you can make money, but normally the student does the driving. I don't think you're being trained, certainly if somebody's sleeping. That's what you didn't like about Prime Team Drive training. I wasn't learning anything. Yeah, Team Drive training sounds like a name that some corporation made up to sound good to the government, but that is really fake and ridiculous. Oh, thanks, Troy. I appreciate that. How do I get to see the rate cons when you're on percentage? Ask for them. They're only required to give them to people that lease on legally. So as a company driver, you aren't legally required to be shown them. Although I would be very nervous about a place that wouldn't show them to me. I think they should give them to you each Friday to prove what they're paying. But ask them and see what they say. That's if you're a company driver. If you're an owner-operator, they're required to give them to you at your request during normal business hours at the location of the business is what they could hold you to. But again, they should show them to you, no problem. They shouldn't have a problem showing to you. Let's see. When you were in England on a permit, you drove a Walmart route as a team with my trainer. He slept while I drove. Do you think you were being trained? That's the thing. Answer is no, right? That isn't training. That's just them making money off you. That isn't any good. You can do it, and you have to be careful with your business as well as your personal life. Yes, I suppose so. I don't know where we're going with that. Burned through some resets. My students got the wheel time, didn't make a lot of money like that, but you train decent drivers. right? I mean, the trainer should be paid good money. There's no question about it, okay? I'm not trainers shouldn't be paid. If you're actually teaching someone at the next generation, you're going to change their life, that should be worth something. You might change people's lives, and that's valuable. You have valuable information to give for which you should be paid for. Nobody's saying you shouldn't get paid. I'd rather you were paid, though, and train people, not this teaming. You should be paid to train, not train to team. You know, that's ridiculous. You were on the top bunk, the trainer on the bottom. You can't do that. One was on the top, but that's not allowed. The trainer knows that, and England knows that. I'm sure England has a policy, though, that says, oh, you're not allowed to be up at the top bunk, I'm sure. If you're on company property, you should be paid. Sleeper berth? Yeah, we're never going to win that one because they're going to say you're sleeping. I mean, even at a regular job, if you were allowed to sleep, I think you should certainly get all on duty and driving time paid with overtime. Brian says, awesome. Thanks for the response. Keep up the good stuff. Almost 10,000. Yep. Almost. Not legally required, but your company makes sure you see them. Yes. And they should. They shouldn't have any problem. Look, if you're even as a company driver, you should be able to go, hey, what's a rate on this? And they should show it to you because you're getting paid percentage. Everybody, it's just business. They can't be offended by it. It's business because it works that way when they want to do a rate with a company that they're going to contract with to move freight. So it's just business. Alex, at the Asian My Show, yeah, sure. Send me an email, right? Always willing to work with everybody, right? What we can do here. Mark at truckinganswersnation.com, which I don't say enough. Anybody paid by percentage under FM? No. I actually looked that up, Maldy. I looked up whether, who has to be shown. It only has to be shown legally to someone that's leased on. Someone that is either doing work at one load or is leased onto the company as an independent contractor that is basically running a business that owns the truck. Company drivers that are paid percentage aren't legally required to have to be shown the rates. So I had to look that up, and it took a while to figure that out. And I was surprised too. Only someone that's running a business, like an owner-operator who says, okay, I'm Joe Trucking Business, and I'm leasing on, so that's why the rate. It's business to business. It's B2B in the industry. But a company driver, unfortunately, doesn't have to be shown the rate legally as far as I could research it. England's policy are up to their discretion. They don't have they can't have a policy to sit people on the top bunk. It's not allowed. So that's not up to their discretion for sure. Some companies called Super Solo. Yeah, I don't mind that, right? As long as you get 10 hours off and the trainer is up with you, I don't mind. That's fine. In that order, you will always have a driving job. Yeah, Thomas, exactly. Always put the safety, ahead of whatever the company is telling you for sure. Firefighters sleep on the job. They're paid a salary too. Remember that, or at least here, because they were $43,000 or something to start here. That's true. And what else are firefighters generally? Union. England doesn't want you in the top bunk. I'm sure they have a policy that says no top bunk, and then they just are like this when the policy comes up. Close your eyes about it. First week at Werner is watch and drive. Second week, watch and drive more. By the 6th week, you can watch and drive. And 8th week, you team. Your trainer taught you hard. Look, I'm glad the trainer taught you. And I think this is a corporate thing more than a trainer thing even. Because on companies that allow this, they have the policy set up so that the trainer is encouraged to team so that they'll make more money rather than encouraged to just pay the trainer and teach the student stuff. The trainer should be paid an extra salary of X amount, I don't know, $500, $800 a week extra to train you and have the student drive. And then the trainer wouldn't be worried as much about teaming. He'd be worried about training, and his pay would be based on the student's performance, not about other stuff. So there you go. That's it, right. I work as a percentage driver and never know the rates unless I ask. Well, look, as long as they'll show them to you, right, that should be okay. They should show them to you. That's the thing about it. Trucking industry needs to be subsidized by the government like the farmers and sugar companies. No. We're going to say no to that. It gets enough subsidies through oil subsidies and that. We don't want the government. I mean, think about it. Do you want the government to set your pay? No. Okay, right, exactly. We don't want the government regulates the industry enough without, being their hand in it any more ways. So I'm not a fan of that, for sure. Salary laws are different than wage, yeah. And the wage laws, trucking is exempt from those. So, exactly. Rates are down. Rates have come down, which I'm surprised considering it's the end of the year. I heard a rate show last week that the rates have come down. And then that's when people on percentage get a little nervous. Do I know an official, unbiased, in capital, by the way, source of information to find the average pay for city and state? The Department of Labor probably has that broken down state by state where people report it. I don't know if you consider that unbiased. It would be more at the loss if it changed in the 30s. Right. Fuel is up. It was what I pay Friday, $3.39 at the pump. I didn't pay it, right? What did the pump say? Let's put it that way. I don't think like I'm paying the fuel, because I'm not. If the company has a set minimum weekly pay for the difference between the trainer and trainee should go to the trainer. That's interesting. I think the trainer, I would like to see a trainer get a salary beyond the miles of a good salary. If it's a good trainer, $700-800 a week, maybe more. Beyond their, $1,000, maybe they should just get paid a straight salary of $1,800 a week, $2,000 a week, whatever it is, to train new drivers. And really take the time, and they run the truck as a single truck, and take the time to train people. Maybe that's a better answer, but companies don't like that. That would cost them money then instead of making them money. Thanks, Eric, for that, by the way. With that many trainees in the truck, wonder why they have so many accidents at these mega companies with improper and thorough training. Yeah, exactly, Kenworth. Look, I didn't know they're packing the trucks like sardines. Nobody's getting trained. Everybody's tired. The truck's running all the time. Then they run off the road all the time. Although that's not always the reason, right? There's a lot of accidents with non-trainee companies, for sure. Your company hated your policy but not sleep behind the students. Good, for the 3 weeks. Well, even the good students, no cruising, no radio. That's good, too. No radio. How boring is that, right? I'm read out loud every road sign. Oh, my God. You're one of the reader people. And no GPS. Jay Cannell stole my thunder. What thunder am I doing? I'm just doing my thing over here. To be a trainer, you should have a minimum of 5 years. I think so. Kenworth, I think you should have 5 years on no tickets or accidents. How about that, to be a trainer? And then, we could talk about that. But then it needs to pay. And so, some of these places are 9 months of experience to be a trainer. And that's a little bit ridiculous. You could start in the late winter and pick it up, your first student in the late fall and never even have seen snow. That's crazy. And you're like, well, let's go to Downer. It's January. Right, and there the two of you go. Awesome. Trainers should earn more, yes, if they're good trainers. They should, because they're changing someone's life. That's important, and it should pay. Companies don't want to pay, but it ought to pay. It ought to pay good. How many lives could you change over years and years of being a trainer? Tons of them. That should be worth something. $75 a day to work with a trainee. I think I don't like it. Well, what's that? $400 a week? Yeah. I don't think that's great. Maybe if you're running a solo, shooting 3,000 miles, it should pay. That has to pay beyond your pay. A trainer should get $1,600 on the road, at least salary. Probably more. And for 2,500 miles. That the student gets taught everything. No teaming. No teaming. Prime is 6 months. Yikes, that's the lowest I heard. I thought England was low at 9 months. Students should be tested by company after a training period. If a student's passed, then the trainer should be paid a good sum of money. Yeah, that's I'm torn on that kind of thing, because there's some people that you could work with a lot. I mean, a ton, and they're just not going to get it. Trucking isn't for everybody. So if they go and fail, even though you did your best, they may not be able to get it. And so then you're not paid your pay based on what somebody else Something like that, what they did. So I don't know if that's a great way to do it. I don't know how we get around that kind of thing in the industry, that if you have someone that's just not going to get it. I mean, years ago, I had a guy, and we were still, this is before GPS, okay? And we were working on the paper maps, of course. And I'm like, let's do some mapping. And he's just looking at the map. And finally, I find out he can't read. Okay, he couldn't read. So, there was nothing more I could do for him. And in the class that he went through his own truck school, he said they were just allowed to take the test together because the truck school had their permit or whatever to do their own testing. And so he just had them pass the test. And I said, well, what do you do at home? And he said, well, his wife takes care of all the bills and everything, but he really couldn't barely read anything. And so somebody like that, which I told them, and they put him with somebody else, is what I actually assume happened to him. But, had I gone on with that person, and then at the end he wouldn't be able to pass that, that's not fair to me. And so those kind of things, that wouldn't have been fair if I got paid like that for something that isn't my fault. I can't teach him to read, too. I mean, Hooked on Phonics might have worked for me, but I didn't have the tapes with me. Your trainer makes you training with 6 months. That's ridiculous. 6 month, no way. Cruising with Jay. Western Express. None of my students or me are affiliated with them anymore. Good. 75 days is the norm for trainee pay. Not. Oh, for trainee, that's even lower. That's $75. I mean, come on. $75. One trainer had 1.45 total debunked most of the time, but awake at least. Well, at least he's up, I guess. And a year and a half is more than some places require. And so at least you have 4 seasons at least. It should be nationwide 4 seasons. I mean, unless you're training on like at Yellow or where somebody doesn't go anywhere. If you're going to train somebody on the road, you should have been all over the road. Yeah, Winnemucca to Boise in January. Let's go. You're my first student. Congratulations. Right. He started training around 6 to 9 months into working. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I mean, you may not have ever seen snow. You may not have even ever been down Donner yourself. And then first load, we're going to Sacramento. It is comfortable, man. That is a unique situation, but I can't be the only one that has that kind of situation come up. So the time that I would have spent, I would have lost any kind of bonus. That's what I'm saying. How do we prevent that kind of thing? Because the trainer shouldn't lose money, even though they've done a great job. We went out west and all over I-80. You hate 80. The wind really fed me up. It's horrible. This time of year is the worst. But, they say that's part of trucking, right? Oh, hello from Canada. Good. Kevin, welcome to America. What's the weather there in Alberta since we have you right now? You checked off mountain passes. Good. You should go up and down, back and forth, right? Come on. You could teach him to read. I could have taught him to read, but I don't have that kind of time to work with somebody to teach them all the way to read enough to get to drive. I mean, that's not for me. What happened to the hours of service changes? We had 5,000 people. A little over 5,000 people commented, and now the FMCSA says that early next year they will be giving us what they're going to do about it. They're going to read it all. A lot of them are doubles or whatever, because you could comment more than once. And early next year they are going to say what is going to happen. So I expect, and I don't have a line to them, they haven't told me this, I expect by spring we're going to have something from them. I think, like I've said, 30-minute break goes away. Split sleeper, however you want, as long as one period's 2 hours at least. So 2-8, 3-7, however you want. That's what I think at least those two will happen, I think. And 3 hour extra, maybe, probably not though. Hopefully not. You should be paid a minimum. We should be paid hourly plus overtime for sure. And you should get a minimum in case like that. See, that's the thing, comfortable man. What if you just got $1,800 a week as a trainer? Then these kind of things you wouldn't be worried about it. Trained on a dedicated route during the summer in the desert. Ugh. Afterwards, you asked to go over the road and learned a great deal more OTR. Depending on who's training you, you might learn more on your own. And to be honest with you, for sure. Great Bark Wolf. Oh, thank you very much. I'm trying to keep everybody informed the best I can. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, go down, Downer, or Cabbage. Yes, that should be part of everybody's training if you're going to be over the road. If you're going to run 48 states, you know, that's part of running 48 states. And we can't just be the two of you, one with 7 months and one graduated 3 weeks ago and like, well, here we go. That's not going to cut it. I asked all Northwest students and they had to know how to chain up before I left them. Yes, they should know how to chain up because you never know when you're going to need to throw a set of chains on to get out of somewhere. And you don't want to learn your first day when it's 15 and blowing wind on the side of the road because then you're going to pay that guy $50 or whatever, the chain guy, to come and do it for you. Matthew, hello there. It's a couple degrees above freezing. Nice. So we're going to call it 2 degrees, right? Had an odd fall of snow and below freezing the last few weeks. Oh, so it's warming up. Nice. And so see how I translated that for you? 2 degrees. Great. Fancy Gap, right? There's plenty of places around the country, you know, where drivers can get killed if they don't know what the heck they're doing. It's important. CRST is not bad. Yikes. You've been on a dedicated route. That's interesting. As I said earlier, here's somebody at CRST on a dedicated route. All these big companies, if you can get on there with a dedicated route, that seems to be the way to go. Get on a dedicated route there, and then maybe it's not too bad. Because then you get all the benefits of a large company, and I mean like insurance and stuff like that. Let's see. I had a load of mattresses weighing 5,000 pounds sat for 3 days at the J. You know, they do limit your weight sometimes out there. Safety had no problem with you sitting. Well, it could be up to you, could be up to them. I've seen the cops close it. I tell everybody, if you don't think it's safe, sit there. 70-mile-an-hour winds with a bunch of mattresses, you're finished. You're on your side. Super smart move. Took some time during a 10-hour break to figure out the chains. Took about a half an hour. Well, if you're doing it on your... Hopefully you log that. I don't know if we would have to log that or not. Training, not if you did it yourself. Just thinking of whether you would legally log it. Okay, but see, here's the thing, right? You figured it out yourself. That's fine. You don't want to figure it out on the side of the road in the winter. So people that don't know how to do it, get them out today or your next break and get out there how to do it. Your trainer didn't teach you. Your trainer probably never put them on either. Your trainer probably doesn't know how to do it. Mount Eagle is not bad. That is easy. Comparatively easy. But if you've never driven, right, we all think it's easy because me and many of you watching, right, have been driving. Most of you probably longer than me have been driving. And so it's easy. So we say, oh, that's easy. But if you just start, it's like a big deal going down there, right? My old partner is still with England on Walmart dedicated. See, he takes home $1,300. That's the thing, Matt. All these large companies that have dedicated routes, everybody that says, you know, oh, I'm on a dedicated run, love it. And then everybody that says, I'm over the road here at whatever, name your large carrier, says, I'm making $300. So I've started to encourage people, if you want to go to a place like that, get on a dedicated run. Because those people are happy and making money. Where the rest of the people are sad and broke, basically. That's how tons of people have written into me about that. You'd be surprised. I get, you know, sometimes 6 emails a day. So besides whatever else is going on. Heartland offered you dedicated. I'm thinking of giving up my truck and doing that. Yeah, I don't know that much about Heartland either. But it seems to me that dedicated seems to be good at these places. It depends what they pay. What are they paying over there? Yes, thank you. Nice. That's awesome, exec of new talent. And we'll be in touch later. Whether you could make me a star, right. We'll talk. That's very, very good. There are only one 12-inch that requires training to even get a CDL. So training a professional driver, no. Look, the CNBC, right? You're the only one watching. But no, seriously, right? Look, you should need years to be a trainer. That's what I think. Fancy Gap is cake. Look, if you know it, right. If your trainer's asleep in winter and snow, you can kill you both. Yeah, you don't want to kill both of you or either of you. And again, these seem easy to us, but to some people, they may not be easy. I mean, everybody started out somewhere. My first job over the road was flatbed. on this side of the Mississippi, and it was nerve-wracking. We didn't have a Jake brake, and, so it was very nerve-wracking. I get it. It's tough. That's why I want to see people trained, right? I'm probably lucky to be alive going down some of those hills to start with. I had no idea what I was doing either. Now we have a trainer, and they don't have any idea what they're doing. Red Classic Transit. They advertise very heavily. They're pretty awesome. Last week was 3,300 miles, and you didn't push yourself. Did they pay good there, too? Because I've always wondered about them. Is the pay good for 3,300 miles? 10 cents a mile wouldn't be good. Treat your OTR drivers like dedicated. All people should be treated like they should be moving. Everybody should have a load before they're empty. $1,100 a full week, paid benefits, 2 states. Same run, drop and hook. All right. Are you in? I'm in. Because then you know what you're going to make. $1,500 a week to $75 grand, Matt. Nice. A trainer should only life. Yes. A trainer shouldn't. I thought there should be 3. I get a lot of grief for this, so I'm going to say it. 3-stage license. 0 to 1 year in your license, novice, right? In a year, you get to become a professional. You'll go back down to the DMV, take a test. And it says professional. Then at 5 years, you go down, test, prove that you have no tickets or accidents, and you get expert. And it stays expert until you have a ticket or an accident, goes back to professional for 5 years with no tickets or accidents. 3-step license. You can work wherever, but that would show your proficiency in the profession with the different licensing system that we have now. Currently, everybody has a CDL the same, so somebody with a month, 20 years, doesn't matter. This would show a better amount of proficiency for people that take the industry seriously. I thought that is a very good idea, probably because I thought of it. I don't know. What do you who thinks that's a good idea? I think that's a great idea. Graduated license. A trainer should only train. Yeah, trainers should train only. Totally agree. Up, training, when the truck stops, sleeping. Truck is run as a solo truck. Student drives. Student does all the work. Trainer does all the training about everything. 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 And the trainer gets paid a good wage for that. $1,800. That's what I would like to see. At least. Yes, Mad Maldy. Yeah, you'd white knuckle it. Look, coming down that first time with that load of plates or whatever, it was very tough. I'm like, holy mackerel, I'm going to die. And it's not that big of a grade now, looking back at it. But then, it was the biggest mountain I'd ever seen in my life. I'd really never even been out of the state. And then to go down that, and then I got this load that might fall off. I mean, crazy. So people need to be trained in that. You got yours 25 years ago, driving in the bush. Nice. You train yourself over the road. Never had anyone train you right. Yeah, first time some of the road scared you. I totally agree, right? I never had a road trainer. Only had training on the flatbed securement, which they did a couple of days driving a GMC Astro back and forth to Chicago from Hammond. So no road training. It wasn't as common then, probably because all the dinosaurs and stuff were on the road still. Is there a rumor that Red Classic is going to 50 cents? I don't know what they pay. I do see them advertise a lot, though. You train whether you're in Western Express. Yikes, not worth it. They are. They're horrible. You cannot offer somebody in the 40 cents a mile range like it's okay with a straight face. I thought it was I thought Ashton Kutcher was on the other end of the phone. I was being punked by them. If you owned a company and expect to pay $1,800 for a trainer, you would require an exam and expect results. Well, right. What do we do about my situation? And remember, the trainer, you could also expect from the trainer that they would be experienced. For that money, you'd get someone experienced. You don't have to have someone 9 months. You'd get a good trainer, which you could expect. No tickets, no accidents. You're paying them. What kind of testing, should they do? That's the thing. Keith, thank you very much. What's happening out there? 76 Astro. Yeah. I don't remember the year of that Astro that we had. There were a few of them. Just you had plenty of visibility. Who remembers the windshield went down basically almost to your ankles in those trucks? That was awesome. Starting pay depends on experience. You start at 46 and at 4 years. That's little low, but not bad. Little on the edge, but if it's all drop and hook or they keep you going, you're okay. The driver manager scream at you? Nice. Yes, I think so too, Comfortable Man. You could demand, for higher pay, you could demand experience. You could get an experienced trainer to come in there. People would do it for a salary. Thanks, Terry. Look, I try to keep up on that. It's important to the industry. And, if we want to change the industry in that, we need to keep up on it, certainly. So I try to read about it as much as possible, certainly. They give you 140 during orientation. Good. There's some places out here not paying anything. What is up with that? Here we go with the pay again. Pay people. And I think that, this 80 grand for a trainer, you'd get a great trainer for that. You wouldn't get somebody with 6 months because you wouldn't have to. You wouldn't have to take people. You'd have people that would be willing to do it. And I agree, there should be some kind of test at the end. So, yes, there's got to be a way. Otherwise, how do we know the trainer did anything? There could be some kind of survey at the end of each week, too. We could ask the students. And there would be a pattern of students saying the same thing, kind of a Yelp for trainers, basically. So you'd get a pattern from the same students that say the same thing. Detention's 21 an hour after 30 minutes. That's more like it. That's finally about what it should be. Then you're not concerned, and I'd make you log it on duty, which you should be, and I'd make you do it. But that's what it should be. You should be getting paid for basically all of your time, on duty time. Your dispatch needs to trust you to keep running. You had Mondays load on Thursday, but that's because I proved myself. The dispatch should trust you. Once you've been there, they ought to know. Some places don't ever trust you, and it's so frustrating. It's also $21 an hour until you're fixed and rolling. Only exception is you caused a breakdown. This is breakdown pay. Yeah, your breakdown pay and detention should be the same. And what would you do to cause the breakdown, I guess? Oh, an accident maybe? Is Uber Freight any good? Do we have any owner-operators in the house right now? Because I am a company driver, for sure. There's going to be people out here that have used it, though. It's nap time now? Holy mackerel. Yeah, catch us on the flip side. Let me know how that goes, Thomas. And thanks for popping in. I appreciate it. Here every Monday at 1 for everybody that doesn't know. I'm out here every Monday at 1 p.m. live, 1 p.m. Eastern. And it's always an exciting day. You never know what it's going to run into out here. Today we've gone through PAM and waiting time and training. So you just never know. I haven't heard that much about Uber Freight. If it works like the car service, it'll just continue to reduce the rates, which is good from my side when I need a ride and don't want to take a cab. And I guess from the person providing the ride, it's bad because I don't make any money. So I assume it'll work just like the freight, for sure. At Millis, a trainee fills out a rating form. Oh, weekly, there you go. And it's only between them and the company. That's great. Look at that. I said it not 2 minutes ago. Millis has already implemented my idea and company-wide. I think that is good of them. The mate, yeah, you're quite welcome out there. Come out every Monday, so that is great. And I think it's great that Millis watched this, implemented it company-wide, and has already put it out to everybody in their company. I guess the question then for Millis, do they do anything about it if the trainee says this guy or woman is not teaching me or they're abusing me, verbally, or what happens if they say something like that? What does Millis do about it to the trainer? What do I think starting pay should be for drivers? I think drivers should all get hourly with overtime, past 40 for all of their on-duty and driving time, and it should certainly be in the 20s at least for everybody, and more dependent on what you do in the industry. But that's for sure. There's no more reason to pay hourly. There's no more reason to pay mileage, percentage. There's no reason everybody can't get paid by the hour for all their time. Then people wouldn't mind sitting. Then companies would have all the incentive to move you. You'd get to do more work and keep moving rather than sit around all the time. Wow, Bill, thank you. Thanks. I appreciate you coming in. And there are people that actually come in. I'm always very humbled by that. It's really something, and I appreciate everybody that comes in, believe me. Did Millis eliminate the driver-facing camera? All right, so I got a couple of emails about Millis from drivers there that said that they'll turn it off now if you don't have any problems. They only turn it back on if you have issues there. I tried to look it up on Millis and haven't found any official information, but I do believe the drivers, and that is the word, that there's no more driver-facing camera unless you basically deserve it due to a safety issue, that kind of thing. It only faces out. You're at 44 cents. All right. Are you getting enough miles to live at 44 cents? Werner does the Yelp on trainers thing at the end of training. How do you get 44 cents if you need Uber freight, by the way? Good. Werner does. Okay. Do they do anything about it? Same with Werner. What happens if a trainer is getting low scores, especially continually low scores? Swift cameras face out. I agree. Swift was one of the first ones to turn off the driver-facing cameras. The drivers complained, they turned them off. And I thought if Swift can do it, so can everybody else do it. Yikes. All right, so that's all right, Mike. That's good. Shippers and receivers are feeling money as a profit margin for companies. Companies should never profit out of an owner-operator's fuel, certainly. It's costing 90 cents a mile to operate with 20% broker fee and the rate's at $2. Yikes. Big E the trucker. Yikes. You're late. Everything is going good here. You get extra demerits for being after 3, but that's okay. We appreciate you coming in. Thank you. That's awesome. Red Classic doesn't have cameras. They believe in total. They don't believe in the invasion of privacy. It's mixed, right? And I've said that. I don't think that they should have it facing you, but I don't totally eliminate the company for having a camera. But should they have it? No, not the one facing in. The out one I'm all for, an outward facing camera, 100%. I think it could save everybody. Oh, okay. Cruising with Jay, you asked about curiosity. All right, I'd say that's not a great money for an owner-operator. Yeah. Millis, shut your cameras off this week. Good. Yes. So they are turning them off there. Do you have to go in or can they do it remotely? I'm just curious about that. Brandon, hello. Thank you for coming in. What would be the best way to start in truck driving? It depends. With that name, I'm not sure about it. It depends on what you have money-wise. The best way to start would be to go to truck school on your own and pay for it yourself if you have the money. Next best way is to call your state's Department of Unemployment and see if they have grants to pay for truck school. You do not have to be unemployed to get these grants. Some states, a lot of states and localities have grants that would pay for it. Then if not, you'll need to find a company to that will put you through school, and then you'll have to work for them for a certain period of time to pay it back. So that's how you would do it in order, depending on your money situation. All companies should have cameras facing out the windshield. Yes. Oh, and on the mirrors. That's interesting. Your company's outward-facing cameras only. That is excellent. That's how they should do it. Yes, Matt. I recommend everybody have a dash cam. That's true. Oh, they turned it off remotely. Good. You didn't have to go in. Our big company's going to ever not use. Yeah, look. Swift turned them off. Millis, right, just is turning them off. Central Oregon Truck Company, which I talked about a few weeks ago, they only have them for 30 days on experienced drivers, and they'll turn them off. There are companies that are getting rid of them. And some are installing them, but some are getting rid of them. It's just been too much of a problem with the industry. I think if we put enough pressure on that, that'll change too, because even the public thinks that's kind of creepy. So if we put that out in the public, especially, oh, we're being watched while we're sleeping, we're being stared at while we're sleeping, you know, put that out there in the public, just plant a couple seeds out there, and I think they'll get a little bit of grief about it, and that won't help. Go to the news stations in these companies' home markets, like Omaha, Nebraska, right, Phoenix or whatever, and, well, not Swift anymore, right, but for like Werner, or any company that has a camera, and put it, I don't know if they have cameras, I shouldn't say that, I guess, and tell the news station that you're being watched when you're sleeping and you think it's creepy. Your boss watches you sleep, and watch them pick that story up and see what the company has to say about it. Let's see. You would like cameras that look down the sides. It wouldn't be bad if they could record that the same way. It could show what a car is doing back there. Does Hobby Lobby trucks have them? Oh, interesting. We don't hear too much about Hobby Lobby. It's an invasion of your privacy. Yeah, they don't need to look at you all day from 2 feet away from you. I agree. But I say, I don't take them off the list, but I don't like them. You're changing your name. Nice. Okay, yeah. It's an interesting name. That's all I'm saying. I see a lot of names on there, and so I thought it was interesting. Cameras on mirrors for blind spot would be best and tied to a monitor. Didn't US Express have that kind of thing for a while? They have they have fender mirrors. If they don't have them, they used to have them, and I've seen fender mirrors out there. They take the actual mirrors off, and they have fender cameras and 2 screens on the dashboard. Isn't it them? I think so. Why don't all mega carriers have a fuel card so we can fuel anywhere? They want to save money. I get to fuel everywhere. I've talked about that. Some companies do allow an open card, but when you fuel at a certain place, they have a deal with them. Usually it's Pilot, Flying J, let's be honest about it. And they save 3, 5, 8 cents a gallon, depends how much fuel they buy every month. So the fuel card only works there. There are worse places. Some places tell you where to fuel. Fuel at this Pilot, right here only. And that's the only place the card's open. That's worse. I don't know if I'd work like that. I want at least open to, I can decide which of these places to fuel my card. And a lot of places do this, though, is open everywhere that takes COM data. That's the best way to fuel. You don't have to sit around worrying about a big line or whatever. But they do it to save themselves money, not because they care about us, because they don't care. They don't care. One camera facing out on all trucks is beneficial to the companies. Oh, yeah, when it comes to scammers, totally. That's totally true, right. Swift turned them off because they got sued because the dispatcher uploaded a Vizzy. Oh, no way. I didn't hear about that. They made it out to be like, oh, I gotta look that up. Right? No way. Frey Miller has driver cams. Interesting. In Europe, they have cameras in lieu of mirrors. They can't do that here yet. They've talked about that for cars as well. They're not allowed to take the mirrors off yet because there's some kind of law about it. So that won't fly here yet because of the law, not the regular side mirrors. But I do think that day will come to save fuel because the new Audis have mirrors, but not here in the U.S. They have the mirrors, but not the cameras in the U.S. So they're working on it. Lexus too, right? Cameras on the sides, nice. Oh, you're going to run? Okay, thank you for coming in. Oh, well, thanks for doing a service. I appreciate it. Thanks, and thanks for being here. Stop in anytime. You're always welcome. May Trucking does, even if you have to go out of route. They do what? It's something with the fuel at May, because I know May's got a fuel problem. Deal. Does Interstate Trucking have their own trucks, or did they get rid of them? Yeah, didn't Heartland buy them out? They're still company drivers, though, right? Red Classic is a 100% open fuel card. Drivers decide that's the way to do it. Companies don't realize how much time I save a company by having an open fuel card. And drivers, a good driver, knows where there's no line, where they like to fuel. I'm not going to wait in line behind 9 trucks. If I can fuel across the street at the Petro, I'll just drive over there and be done with it. It saves them time of sitting there and idling. My clock is running. I'm more efficient. It's the way to go. Open up the fuel card. It's a few cents. I'll save the company more than that. Believe me. It's Pashal. I don't know about Pashal. PTL, right? Let's see. JBN gives you a list of approved stops depending on the account you're on. No card. How do you fuel without a card? How would you fuel at a card? Just go like this to the guy inside? That's it? And he turns on the fuel thing? Say no, JBN? Yeah, the fuel in the turnpike was surprised by card was open to any place with COM data. That's the way to do it, right? So fill up anywhere you want. I love fueling on the turnpike. Free showers. Never anybody fueling on the pike. Especially the Ohio Turnpike. There's nobody out there. Fill up all day long. Millis just announced another increase? Yikes. Between base pay and bonuses? Wow. They'll be well past 50 cents. Oh, cruising. Thank you for cruising with Jay for coming in. Thanks. Stop by anytime. Thanks for coming in today. Why are companies merging? Money. Right. That's everything. It's money, man. Money. Oh, Roy came in late. What's going on? Too much oil being pushed out there? Thanks for coming in anyway. May took my brother, kept him in a hotel 2 weeks, let him move trailers around the yard. They gave him a road test and failed him and sent him home. Nice. Well, we know why they're on the list of crap company. That's another reason. They're just another horrible place that no one should work. Just buying the fuel there is ridiculous. Ridiculous. That's enough to never talk to them. Never. They prefer you using Pilot, but want you any place. Yeah, as long as they don't do anything to you. Right, look, they do the same thing here. Oh, we would prefer you feel, yeah, I don't care. Right, as long as they don't care about it, It doesn't make any difference. It doesn't make any difference to me. What place to fuel and what time? 6, 7 a.m. Yeah, 6 or 7. You never fuel. Look, I don't fuel in the morning. Everybody's fueling in the morning. I like to fuel in the afternoon. I'm an afternoon kind of person. My midday is fuel, and that gets you your shower. Then when you get somewhere, you can just park and stop. That's how I do it. Everybody's got their own way to do it. There's never anybody fueling in the afternoon. They're always doing stuff. So that's always the best way to do it, I think. But everybody does their own way. Does Millis hire with no experience? Yes. Let's sim electric tape over the inward-facing camera. Problem solved. You'll get fired for that for sure. Every place that I've ever seen that has a camera says, and have you signed for it, if you block it, damage it, touch it, look at it wrong, give it the side eye, wink at it, anything, they'll fire you. Termination, instant termination. Yeah, PAM, that was great, Roy. PAM lost like they should, right, Roy? They should, and all these other companies should lose too. You entered a code in the pump thing, your other... Oh, really? JB Hunt approved stop because you run low on fuel. Wow. Wow, so JB Hunt's so big they can just enter a thing on the pump. TMC, look. TMC's got a lot of weird rules. They may be a good place. I haven't looked into that. Like you can't walk on the grass. Your bed has to be made. And people say, well, that's a little thing. Not really. Okay, when they check your truck and make sure your bed is made, that's a big deal to me. Okay, leave me alone. I don't make my bed at home. I'm not going to make my bed in the truck. That's just the way it is. Right, Roy. Midday fuel and shower. Exactly. Exactly. Get everything done. Then you can park. You're finished for the rest of the day. Okay, Big E the trucker. Thank you. Thanks, sir. Thanks for being out here. You too, as well. And I appreciate all that you do out here too, sir. I know you're on out here too. So thank you. Black Ghost started with PAM 5 years ago. What do you think? Do they not pay you for your time? Just unplug the camera. It's hardwired. We're testing them, so I've seen them, right? They're hardwired. I don't have one to show you. If I ever put one in, I'll show it to you, but they're hardwired. There's no plug. It goes behind the dash and gets plugged in. So, hardwired. You love that the company finally lets you use your app to fuel the truck. I've never done that. You input all your info and go out and stick the nozzle. You know, I've always seen that, and I love to fuel up at the Loves. So does that hold your company fuel card information too? Maybe I'll try it out. Anybody know anything about JCT? TMC makes their drivers wash their truck once, if not twice a week. Yes, the trucks have to be clean. And from what I understand, you can wash it numerous times. But the trucks got to be clean. Clean. All the time. Oh, you can unplug yours? Yeah. The ones here are hardwired in. You're not unplugging it. There's no plug. Roger Penske is back. Famous. Very famous, by the way. If you're not dead or in jail in the hospital, where's Waldo? 120 hours. Where am I going on my 10-hour break? Hanging with the road runners. That's what I'm hearing, right? The camera that faced Stevens was blocked by the visor, so daytime I would put the visor down. Ah, they make you sign that too. You can't use the visor. And I think that that's when I'd argue with them. Safety. I'd say, sir, I'm using it to block the sun. It's not my problem to put a camera there. So, but that's what they say, no visor. You can't use it at all. And look, I don't know, I'm weird. I put the visors down in storms too because the lightning, those huge pops of lightning in the dark, right, are super bright. So you'll see me in storms with the visors down, driving around. Find the fuse panel and follow the wires. You can pull the wires. Oh my God, you're so fired. You're to be so fired for that. How would you explain that? That just happened? You're fired. Disable the camera, get fired. And right, exactly. There's no way you're going to pull the wires out of it and not get fired. Your company has a staff that cleans the trucks. Yeah, you know what they do here? We get trucks cleaned every 2 weeks at the yard. They come on Sundays because I've seen them over there. It's some guy with a truck, right? And a couple guys pop out and they wash all the trucks sitting there every other Sunday, year round. So because we're not allowed to use a beacon because they do them right here. 3-in-1 ointment, I'm telling you, say what? You're fired. Fired. How do you explain that? Has to be something you could explain. One more, Tesla's trying to put out their truck next year. Yeah, that Tesla's not going to go anywhere. Literally, what, 300 miles or whatever, you're never going to get, and that's not a big threat. Maybe the local companies, and I'd drive one. Look, if I had a less than 300 mile day or something where I was delivering to grocery stores or something, I totally would. I'd drive a Tesla. I'd love to drive one. I would love to test drive one right now. Tesla, send me an email. I'll come to wherever you are and drive your truck. Love it. I would love to do it. Okay, so you input the info in the pilot, and all right, good. So I put it in once. That's interesting, Roy. I might try that. I didn't know you could put your fuel card in there too, and turn the pump on. You did that when they worked for Schugel. They never found out. They must have never videoed you, because I think that they would catch that if you were ever on video. Some of them are more sensitive than others. These cameras. You're glad you retired. No cameras or ELD. Yeah, you can. They can kiss it. A lot of people left for that. You know. I heard a lot of people said they were leaving, and doggone it, they did leave. They left. Okay, about the camera, you told them the sun bothered you and put it down. They chilled on it. But you'd put it back up after dark. I guess you'd have a problem at night. Although I do put it down at storms at night. The Tesla's 600 miles on an 80,000 mile load. Really, how long to recharge it? And you wouldn't want to go 600 miles, right? Because it's right out at the end of it. And of course, Teslas, just like their cars and Bolts and all that, the range depends on the temperature. 10 degrees out, you don't get it in 600 miles. There's a guy who I watch here, has a Bolt, and he lives in Chicago. If you saw him last winter, his Bolt would show 109 miles on his 238-mile charge when it was full in the middle of winter. Tesla's going to have the same problem. We can't store energy in the cold as efficiently. You just got your permit. Don't have the money to pay for school. Well, you're going to have to go to a truck school. I would ask Rail and Millis, right? Call Millis. You want to run a flatbed? Call Maverick. Call those three and get back to us. For the record, you have a Model S. Nice. You get less range. Well, not you where you are. Up here in the winter, I would get less range on a Model S, correct? And like I say, I'll take my Chevy Sonic, which is 5 years old now. We'll start in Indianapolis, go to Kansas City, and come back here to Indianapolis. You and this Model S, which are 100,000 new. And there are only two things. You can't do any modifications to it. And you can't exceed the speed limit. And we'll round trip it and see who gets back first. That's what I say on it. And I got that car used. So that's the problem with it. You can't range it yet, the charge time. Even on a supercharger, I can fill up and get 450 miles, in 3 minutes. So I'm just not a fan of it until electric cars, which you must agree have an electric car, until they fill up in 3 minutes, there's not going to be any kind of huge people buying them. There is nothing wrong with moving away from them, but this electric is not going to cut it yet. It's not. Would you have to log on duty during recharge? You say you would have to. I don't know about that. You're not doing anything but plugging it in and you're gone. You don't monitor it because we have a supercharger here. And there's cars there all the time charging. So that's an interesting question. I'll have to think about that. Is ABF Freight a good company? Yeah, I'm in for ABF for sure. Rail does have flatbed. That is true. You can also be home 26 weeks at a time. A year. Let's put it that way. You can't buy normal tires for Teslas? Is that true? I thought they just put tires on them. Fossil fuel, right? We could have fossil fuels on the flat Earth. Not anytime soon for 3 minutes. 30 minutes for 200 miles. Okay, so Sonic, more useful car, apparently. You went through night. You have a Volt the last 2 years. A Volt would be better because there's no range limitation on it. I can continue to fill it up and drive if I need to go somewhere far and then use the Volt around town without using gas. That would be the best way. That's the best. I think that's the best way to do it right now. But the Tesla, no. And in winter here, no range. I saw 20 below zero here. What's the range on a Tesla 20 below zero? 100 miles? I don't think so. You've got a 91 Geo Metro, gets 50. You paid $1,000 for it 20 years ago. Still a better deal than a Tesla because of the distance. 50 and you must be the last Metro running around. I haven't seen one of those for a while. Okay, so you can buy any tire. Okay, that's what I thought a Tesla would just put any tire that fits it, you can put on it, right? They're just quiet. They hear more tire noise because there's no engine noise. So, you know, I don't have the engine running, so the tires are louder. So you'll probably want a quieter tire. That's probably why they get more noise in them, you know, on these cars. And there were a few of them charging yesterday. We were shopping at Meijer because that's where the supercharger is. There were some of them sitting over there. You get 44 miles per gallon out of that thing. Yeah. Right. Okay, so you get 44 miles per gallon in a car. Look, until you can charge your car in 3 minutes, nobody's going to buy an electric car. There's not going to be no widespread use of an electric car because I can go anywhere. For very cold, 5 below is 250 miles from full and heat on. So 250 miles, and then it's a full charge, right? 40 minutes. That's a problem. Just all I do is compare. I always compare that to my Sonic, right? Small car from Chevy, right? That's what I go to work in. And so, can a Tesla outdo that yet? No, not yet. Maybe in top speed, but it can't outdo it in range, you know, or anything like that. And I've heated seats too, so I hear you, right? Diesel cars get good gas mileage, relatively good. We got a guy with a Passat diesel who did not turn it in. He kept it. He's got a lot of miles on it. And it's, you know, for its size, he gets mid-50s. Pretty good for a big car going on the highway. Because it's big. I've been in the car. It's big in there and everything. It's had a lot of problems with the car itself. The engine has run good. But the car itself has had a lot of problems. So, you know, for that, not a fan, I guess. But your Tesla at 5 below, 250 charge, 250 charge. Are the superchargers close enough to go long distance in the wintertime? That's interesting because you have less distance on it. Electric hater, yeah. Free refill question is how much is your time worth around town? You drive all week and refill at home. Yeah, maybe. I only refill my car once a month. So it takes me 3 minutes once a month, no problem. Because I don't put that many miles on that car, but I could. No more separation than 100. Okay, so they're close enough where you could even do it in the wintertime. Look, I like the idea of an electric car. I would like them to charge during the day. And, you know, stuff like that. I think it's a great idea. I just don't think yet it's ready for most people's needs. Because people want a car that if they want to, they can get in it and drive it across the country and not worry, you know, about stopping. I can go as far as I want in any gas-powered car, not just mine. And that's the deal. And so until they solve 3-minute fill-ups, you're not going to have people do it. You're just not going to get widespread use. Even in a Bolt or a Model S, a cheaper one like that, it's just not going to happen. It takes too long to fill it back up. And like here, you're going to be parked in a Meijer parking lot filling up your car. You know, that's the supercharger here. There's probably one in Indianapolis or whatever also. That's the only one here. And the new ones don't get free charging. You do. But as you saw, they ended free charging. Get the option for motor sound speaker? Yeah. Just pipe the noise in. You get 54 miles on electric, 4 hours to charge on level 2, and then 44 miles to the gallon on gas. So all your commuting during the week can be done on electric. Then the engine starts and you can drive as far as you want. It's not fully, yeah. Look, they got a ways to go. Because I know it's 40 miles to get a decent 40 minutes, right? Even at a supercharger to fill that thing back up. That's a lot of time. I'd have to stop a couple times a day. And you might have to park it and then drive it to a motel or whatever. So you may have that problem if you're traveling. So that's why I'm not a fan of them. As a second car, I could see it. You still need a gas-powered car. And maybe BMW solved that with their electric i3 because you get 7 days of a gas-powered BMW rental every year for free as part of the purchase of a new i3. So you can come in, bring that car in, and get a 3 Series for 7 days each year to take a trip with. So maybe that's not bad. But if you need to go somewhere right then at night and you only have this car, that's a problem. It's a problem. Until there's a radical change in infrastructure, all you can do with an electric car is switch your fuel source from gasoline to Gulf-Fire. Yeah, look, I'm no fan. I'm just not a fan. I like the car itself. I think it's a great idea. But until they can fill it up as fast as I fill my car up, no thanks. You got yours for $22,000, and it works for your home time. That's good for a Model S especially. So it's probably, what, a 12 or something, an earlier one. Supercharger gets you 175 miles in 30 minutes. You basically always plug it in at home, so it's always full. Right, I'm saying for a trip, though. You need a trip, that's a problem. 30 minutes every 2.5 hours is a problem. I mean, every 2.5 hours turns into 3 hours. So, I mean, a car, even the Geometra that was on here, has more distance than that. Although you're riding around in a relatively nicer car, depending. Oh, so here's a 14. That's a good deal on a 14. That's a really good deal, really, actually, on a 14. Is that the big battery or the small? Right, they got, what, a 85, 75? I've seen different batteries and stuff for them. I'm not a huge, I know something about it, but not 100% on Tesla, for sure. Electric cars do nothing except car companies need to make their CAFE standards. I don't think they'd make them unless they were, subsidized. Nobody would buy them. I do watch, I'm a subscriber to Hoovie's Garage, right? And so I saw he bought the cheapest used Tesla in the United States. I did see that, right? I thought that was fascinating. He's got all these cars now. He can't keep up with them, so he doesn't do enough of them each time, but I agree. For a road trip, a trucker, it would be for regular folks. They stop very often. 310 battery. Okay, so you have the 85 battery. Nice. Oh, your car's not autopilot capable. Those are really cheap. Now, I thought they could update that through some thing, right? Or do you have to take the car in? I thought they app updated everything on these Teslas. Non-autopilot Teslas are cheap. Oh, nice. Oh, well, that's all right. You're going to have to drive the car yourself, I guess, instead of having it drive itself around, because that's certainly not up to snuff either yet, really. For sure. The new ones can. All right, so newer than that. 14 is still not bad. For that money, right, that's pretty good. For a Tesla with most of the other features other than autopilot. They don't have hardware. Okay, so it's a hardware change in the new ones. I thought all the way back you could do it. I didn't watch Hoovie's on that. Maybe his does the same thing. Electric is not evolved enough for commercial use. Correct. I totally agree, right? The truck is going to be local. You're certainly not going to take this Tesla truck nationwide, because what's the recharge time going to be on that? I haven't looked at that. How long to recharge 600 miles in a semi? Aren't they building some kind of supercharger for the semis, though? Like 440, 880, or some kind of huge voltage amount to plug the semis in to get those gigantic batteries charged up faster. I read something about it. The 15s and up have it. Yes, that's what I thought, right. Well, it's 3:37. We've gone way off track with Tesla talk, for sure, as I'm going to wrap it up because it's almost work time here anyway. What else is going on out there before I wrap this up? You have the Verse Volt with adaptive cruise. Oh, you're in Vegas, so the weather's good too. Poor man's autopilot. I had a lane assist in a Focus. Titanium, and it would go back and forth too. It can't quite read the lines. It would kind of back and forth. I'm not a fan of it yet. I'd rather just drive the car myself. The truck can be charged in 8 hours. So that's not a coast-to-coast truck at all. The Tesla truck, that's going to be local. So 200 miles out and back. And yeah, we have adaptive cruise with that Goofy Bendix thing. It works good. The adaptive cruise, but the lane keep he's talking about bounces back and forth. The adaptive cruise does keep you good. But then you're cruising along, you're like, oh, how come I'm going 51? Oh, prime. Right, that's why there's a huge line of us going 51 miles an hour. But it does, I will give you that. The adaptive cruise, especially with an automatic, maintains your speed, and where you would otherwise have to shift. I agree, adaptive cruise. As long as you can disable it whenever you want, which we can, then it just beeps at you if you don't want it on. 400 miles in 30 minutes. That's still not nationwide. You'd have to stop. I'm not a fan. I'm going to say there's none of those big chargers. They got a ways to go before they put me on board. Although Tesla, if you're listening, I think Elon Musk does watch this, so I would love to drive one, and I will come to wherever you are to drive it. The truck stops would need dedicated spots. Oh my gosh, this is going to be self-charging to start with for sure. Those spots will be taken by other trucks? Yes. This is going to be where you only do it at your own facility. Careful where you pee behind the Kevin electric truck. Nice. Yeah, now we got to think about all the pee bottles and the arcing electricity. You have a short clip of an aerodynamic UPS truck that looks futuristic. It's not going to work, Speed Freak. Yeah, it's not going to work for some time. They have a lot to figure out on it. And truck stops are not going to install Tesla chargers for the very limited amount of trucks that would come in there yet. I mean, that is a long way. And you're right. I mean, who's going to park in there? Billy Joe Bob's going to park in there. I can park wherever I want. He's parked in there. You Tesla don't know nothing. All right, my dad said this or whatever. You're never going to get parked. You're going to have to charge them at your company's location. They'll have to build the charger themselves. For sure. Oh, he's out of time. Yeah, he's still on the board. He does something. They booted him out of something, but he still does something. Look, he's got enough pull to get me to drive that truck. That's all I'm saying. Tesla will make their own spots. Companies are going to do it. Walmart said they're going to install their own chargers or whatever. Companies will install their own chargers. And that's the only way to do it. And then, like Pepsi or whatever, even Red Classic might do some of it. Some of these local companies where they do it, it'll be totally done there and it'll be local. And then I'm in, right? I'd drive one for sure, no problem. They pay me, I'm in. I would love to drive one. Oh, thanks. Thank you, Roger. We're going to always be here on Mondays at 1 p.m., 3:40. So I'm going to wrap it up here after Tesla talk and PAM talk. So I want everybody to have a good day out there. Of course, truckinganswersnation.com. You got anything to say, write to me, right? Mark at truckinganswersnation.com. I answer all emails. I try to get to all the video comments. I try to get to everything. So that's what we're doing there. He's still the CEO, right? Thank you, Roy. Yeah, we'll see you out there during the week, of course. Say what? Thanks for being in. I want to thank everybody, of course, for coming in here. I'm always surprised that everybody comes in to watch. I couldn't be any more appreciative of it, believe me. Okay, good. Yeah, get back to your little ones, and I'm off to work, really. You want to be a trucker? Good. Everybody should be a trucker. It's the best thing next to an advanced degree, I think. So, 3:42, wrapping it up. Thanks for coming in. We'll be back next Monday live, and I'll have more videos this week. Keep your suggestions and everything coming, pictures, whatever you want. And I will, of course, see you on the internet, and I'll see you on the road. Thanks for being here.